And we're back here for another episode of the ANS Podcast. What happened?
Dude, it's lagging right now, right when you were doing the intro. But go ahead, dude. Go ahead and do it.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to another laggy episode of the ANS Podcast. I'm your host, Alec Miller. You can catch me on Twitter and for some reason I forgot to change the dang Twitter thing again. It's Alec Miller 0423. I think I could change it 1 second. Hold on. But yes, you can catch me on Twitter at Alec Miller 0423. You can see it on the screen right now. And
there you go.
As always, joined by my fellow host, Jesus. What's going on, man?
What's going on, brother? You can find me on Twitter at The Real Jesus, and that's spelled Jeezus. As you can see, I'm in the very comfortable confines of my room because I could not handle the heat last time, and I was sweating up a storm. So I'm currently under construction back there. Hopefully I can get back to my studio soon. So that's why it might sound a little bit different as well. But I'm in my room. I'm in the AC. I'm not going to be sweating, and I'm ready to go, man. A lot of stuff to talk about today.
Dude, there is a lot, like, to the point where we're not even going to be able to stick on, like, movies and sports, really, because there's so much to talk about going on in the world of the UFC right now. So I'm excited to get started with it. But as always, this seems to be the segment, the opening segment for our show, and it is, what are you watching? So what are you watching, man?
I literally just finished the third episode of Perry Mason. Again, It's a pretty good show, very well shot, very cool period stuff, like little details and things of that nature. So I definitely recommend it. I also saw the second episode of I'll Be Gone in the Dark, which is the 6-part miniseries on HBO of the Golden State Killer.
Golden State Killer, yeah.
Yeah, which he started off as the East Area Rapist and the original Night Stalker. That's what his original names were before he became the Golden State Killer. So I saw that. That is amazing, man. I mean, I've been deep in it from the book to the podcast and now to this miniseries, and it's pretty cool seeing it come together. You know, whenever you read a book or whenever you hear a podcast, it's one thing, but then to visually see certain things, it just puts it on a different perspective, man. It's amazing and crazy and scary how he got away with what he got away with when he got away with it in the 70s. And, you know, I guess luckily for the public at large, there wasn't more people like him that caught on to his techniques and took advantage of the fractured culture in the police department where they did not, speak to one another. So those are the two things I watched. I also watched over the weekend, went back and saw Selena, and I went back and I saw October Sky. Yeah, I think it's called October Sky.
Oh, yeah, with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Another great movie.
Great movie.
Yeah, great movie. Great one. So I saw those two things, and then I'm in the middle of watching Batman: The Mask of the Phantasm with my son on Netflix because it just got uploaded to Netflix in July, which was a animated movie from 1993 that I remember vividly and watching it and enjoying it. So now I wanted to share it with my son, so we've been watching that. So that's what I'm watching, man.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I need to watch that. I haven't seen The Mask of the Phantasm.
It's pretty good. It's a little weird, man, because right now, I guess after Dark Knight and Dark Knight Returned or whatever, and even the new Batman versus Superman, and just how dark they make Batman, you go back and you watch The Mask of the Phantasm, and it's like, man, he was not that. He was at least then, he wasn't that in the animated movies. He was more a detective. He didn't want to hurt people. Just wanted to protect people. And it's just a funny movie, man. Also, man, the artistry and the drawing has come such a long way, man.
Yeah,
but it's still overall, I would say, good to great movie. I like the Phantasm as a villain, as an anti-villain, or whatever you want to call it. But it's a good movie, man. I recommend it.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that one out. That's the only animated Batman movie to be in theaters. Well, besides The Killing Joke most recently, but they never really put any other animated stuff in the theaters. And then that one, I know that one was in the theaters, and I'm assuming it didn't do well because we never saw another animated one on the screen. But everyone always goes to that one saying that's a great Batman movie. And Phantasm was actually made for the movie. Was a non-comic book villain, so
that's right.
Nice little introduction.
Yeah, 1993. So that's what 27 years ago, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I'll be 27 this year. So yeah.
Yeah. So 27 years ago, movie in theaters. I don't remember what. Actually, I might have watched it in theaters. I was young, man. I was 7 or 8 years old. So I remember why it was right. It was right in my wheelhouse at that time, man.
Nice.
So that's what I've been watching. How about you, man? What have you been watching?
Me and my girlfriend just blowing through Avatar: The Last Airbender. We're on the third book, which is the fire book. So last season, I checked in. There's only 16 episodes in that season, and Chris was like, "What? We're already almost done?" Like, yeah, it wasn't like a long anime. It was just the 3 seasons, and I know the third season took a long time for them to finish it. Like, they really wanted to take their time and finish it right. So they're, it's not like every other anime in the world, like where there's 1,000 episodes. Like, because I'm excited to get done with Avatar 1 because I love the show. It's fantastic. And 2, after that, I'm gonna introduce her to Naruto and see if I can get her to watch the whole thing.
655
canon episodes. Canon episodes.
Not the filler episodes.
No fillers. No fillers here. But because I've been wanting to actually rewatch Naruto, so I'm like, why don't I try and get her to rewatch it with me? So I'm hoping that it'll capture her. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, because it is better in Japanese, but we are gonna have to watch in Japanese because the original Naruto I was watching in English, and she would like hear it in the background, and she couldn't stand Naruto's voice. She said it was like nails on a chalkboard, and I'm like, I get it.
So yeah, watch it with the subtitles.
Yeah, so we'll watch it in Japanese, and then after that one, we watched 2 episodes of Attack on Titan, and she was like, "I want to watch that too." And I was like, "Yeah," because those first 2, I had never seen it before, so those first 2 episodes.
Oh, you had never seen it?
No, I never seen it. So I just put them on. Like, I think at first she was talking on the phone to her sister, and I put it on the TV right here, and then what's up?
Now I was just gonna show you. Hold on, let me show you real quick.
Go ahead.
The manga.
Oh, nice. See, I heard that. I have to. That's why I had to check it out because everyone's like, "This anime is insane." I had never watched it, so I was like, I put it on the TV one day, and she was watching it like with me, and dude, those first 2 episodes are insane. Like, it's so much that happens in those first 2 episodes.
Yeah, it's legit, man. There's a lot going on in that show. I've been trying to watch a movie that they made that came out, and I just have not been able to find it. Like, I don't want to bootleg it. I want to do it legit, but I can't find it.
Yeah.
But, there was some backlash on there saying that it was too romantic because they had to try to make a romantic aspect to sell it to the masses. But, man, I still want to watch it, man. I feel like that whole world is like, it's weird and cool and different and interesting, and you just want to see what's going on with it,
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why I got these the manga. My brother gave me these for my birthday because he knows that that's one of my favorite animes. But it's just interesting, man. It's just weird and different, and I like that kind of stuff. And like, I know I mentioned to you probably about 4 episodes back that's on Netflix. That's really weird. That Doro Hedoro, that's on Netflix. It's only 1 season.
Yeah, telling me about it.
Dude, just check out like 1 or 2 episodes, man, and just tell me what you think, because it's so weird, but it's also so cool, dude.
Yeah. One that I watched that was really weird. I watched it on myself. I watched 2 episodes of Food Wars. Which is like the cooking one, and dude, it's like super like hypersexualized. like when they eat the food, they have like orgasms and stuff. It's weird. So I'm like, this isn't one that I'm gonna watch around people. This is a for me type one, but it's pretty good. But that one, and I watched 1 episode of, I can't even pronounce the word. I think it's like Harukai or something like that. Haruiki, I don't know. It's a volleyball one. Where the kid like he sees like these high school volleyball game, and he's like, that's what I want to do. So he like puts this team together, and his friends don't even really give a shit about it, but it's their first and like last match before he goes into high school, and he's gonna go to the high school that he was watching on TV. But it's he ended up playing, and it's pretty good. Like and from what I heard, is like it's one of those animes that has really good storytelling. that it develops characters really well. So that's what I'm really looking forward to jumping into. Also, I'm on an anime kick right now.
Yeah, I have to look into. Have you seen One Punch Man?
No, I'm gonna check that one out soon too. The ones I'm gonna get into like deep is So I'm obviously gonna rewatch Naruto, and what I'm gonna do is because I've been on a TikTok craze, but not for like the TikTok dances, but for like the art, like rappers that are on there and stuff. And then I'm seeing a lot of anime stuff on there too. So there's some people that what I've thought about doing and like kind of copying other people is while we're watching Naruto, like for big moments, I want to record her reaction and put it on TikTok.
Oh yeah,
like
dude.
we're like the Zabuza versus Kakashi arc or something like that, or the first time Naruto unleashes some of his Demon Fox chakra. Like I'm excited to show her like some of those like big moments and see what she thinks.
Yeah, that'd be pretty dope, man. That'd be pretty cool.
So like what I'm gonna do is so Naruto, Attack on Titan. I'm gonna keep checking out Food Wars and Hadouken, something like that. I think something like that. And then also like One Punch Man, Sword Art Online, which is one that I always heard about. Also My Hero Academia, because I know people love that show. So I've never seen an episode of it. So I'm gonna jump pretty deep into anime.
Yeah, My Hero Academia is pretty cool. Dude, one of my favorites is One Punch Man, and it's because it's like a satire, like a parody. It's so funny, man. It's so funny. It's so well thought out. It's so interesting. You know, like it's just a good. I don't want to ruin it. I mean, I don't know how much have you heard of it.
I've heard that it's like a psychological type show because it like dives into the psychology of Saitama, someone that is just constantly someone that's too good and is looking for a challenge, and how he's like suffering from like depression and all that stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, dude. I mean, that's exactly what it is. But he's just so funny how he goes about it, you know, like it's just a great premise, man. And it's kind of like it subverts it, you know, like if you look at Dragon Ball Z, they're always trying to level up and over 9,000. Naruto learning all these chakras and all these jitsus or whatever. And
how long each episode takes? I mean, how long each battle takes?
Yeah, it's exactly how like each episode's each episode is a whole long battle and it doesn't even finish. Well, One Punch Man just kind of puts everything on its head. It's like, okay, he's up here.
Everyone else is way down there.
Nobody's close to him, dude. So he just needs one punch, So it's pretty cool, man. I definitely recommend that one. I'm gonna go back and watch it again because I think season 2 is about to come out. So I'm very excited about that too because it's been taking forever for the other season to come out.
I'll send you this TikTok because I found this rapper who did an anime style rap where he put in a bunch of anime references in this rap, and I'm like, and I said it to one of my friends who likes anime. He was like, "Tell me why this is kind of fire, though."
Yeah,
I'm like, I know, dude. It's pretty dope.
I feel like it's weird. I know it's weird, but like anime is kind of seeping into everything. I mean, rap. A lot of rappers, have been anime. If you don't look too far to UFC, Adesanya is a huge anime fan. And they give him crap about it, but I mean he's a champ, so I don't know how much crap you can give the champ about it.
No,
but it's a big deal, man. It's a big deal. I feel it's finally coming over to the US and making it more, I guess, frontline versus being on the edges, know.
Yeah, because it started with like people would be like, oh, anime sucks, blah blah, anime's lame, and like, oh, well, do you like Dragon Ball Z? I love Dragon Ball Z.
Anime. Even though the anime people hate on it because it's well that's like Dragon Ball Z and Naruto and what is it, Bleach? Those are like and One Piece are like the One Piece. Yeah, I was gonna say One Piece.
Those are like, oh, you filthy casual.
Yeah, exactly.
But then if you watch
it's not fair because they're great, dude. They're still great, in their own sense,
One Piece and Bleach are still going. Like those still haven't ended. At least Naruto's ended. Naruto had an end. They even have their little side show going with Boruto because I heard that's starting to pick up and get better. Because I watched a few episodes of Boruto and I'm like, man, this is like the first couple episodes of Naruto.
Dude, and Dragon Ball was my high school being on YouTube and seeing, man, is there an episode out? Is it subtitle? Let's try to mess with subtitle. You know what I'm saying? It's just And then dude, it'd be like the next episode, 521 or 421. All right, and you click it, and it's like episode 3, and like, what is this? I'm like halfway through it.
That's actually how I did Naruto. Like I remember when I was in high school, I started watching Naruto, and I would watch them on YouTube. But you had to like find the. I wasn't a sub guy. I was always dubbed. Like I hadn't realized how great like it is as subbed until I started watching Naruto. Because because when you watch like Naruto with dubbed, and you put it next to an episode with subs, and you're just like the emotion is so much different. Like I even hear like because a lot of people are showing like the spoiler guys for anyone that hasn't seen Naruto, but like whenever they let Naruto, don't spoil she's got her earphones.
Okay.
Apparently, you can connect your AirPods to the damn TV, so she's watching that 70s show. But and she doesn't know these characters' names. But like when they let Naruto know that Jiraiya died, sometimes they're in English. I'm just like, it doesn't work. Like his voice isn't as like heartbroken, and you hear it in sub, you're like, yeah, like that's the feels right there. The ultimate feels right there.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I've seen Dragon Ball so many times that I get that too. Like, wait a second, I don't remember seeing it this way. Or you know what, man, this they dumb it down sometimes, or they'll just take certain backstories or side stories out, and they're like, man, what this doesn't make sense because they take this out or whatever, So it definitely, like, if you just want to get through it to understand it, watch it dubbed, and then later on, if you really like it, go back and watch it subtitled, and you can probably get a whole different story from it, or a whole different experience than watching it from the first time.
Well, I already watch a lot. I watch everything with subtitles just because I like to, if I need to really like see something and pay attention, and I'll just read it sometimes. So if I'm watching something and it's dubbed and the subtitle doesn't match, like what they're saying, like if the subtitles doesn't match what they're saying, it bothers the hell out of me. I can't keep watching. I was like, I'll switch it to the original language. That's how I was watching. I watched Food Wars because like I put Food Wars on and it went immediately to the dubbed. And I was reading the subtitles, like, nope, can't do it. It's like some kind of like OCD, I guess, or I don't know.
They're lying to you.
Like that's not what they said. So it's dubbed, subbed all the way, guys.
Yeah.
But if you like dubbed, it's okay too. I'm not gonna call you a filthy casual.
Yeah, we'll just start with dub and then go to sub. I mean, no big deal.
There you go. You're always gonna go back and rewatch it. Like I can't wait to rewatch Naruto. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, especially when you're introducing it to somebody that hasn't seen it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So, a little bit of sports news. We're gonna jump into a little bit of sports news, guys. Patrick Mahomes got paid, and he got paid $500 million. He's gonna be getting paid $503 million over the next 10 years, adding on the 2 years that he still has left on his contract. So he's gonna be with the Kansas City Chiefs, I believe, through the 2023 or 2021 season. 2021 or not 2031. Sorry,
31. There
2031.
You go.
2031. He's going to be with them for until 2031. Basically, his entire prime. He is going to be a Kansas City Chief lifer, I would say. Good on him. I think it's a well-deserved contract. We knew it was coming. I didn't expect a 10-year contract because I don't remember. I think what was it? Brett Favre, the last person that got a 10-year contract. Yep. Or he had a lifetime contract, but I guess
whenever he wanted to come, whenever he wanted to come back. Well, I mean, dude, a couple items, man, on this Patrick Mahomes deal. I gotta shout out to Nick Wright because I know he watches us. Wright from FS1.
One love, Nick Wright. He's a Houston guy. He always shows respect.
He shows respect. He's not from Houston, but he's here for like 5 or 6 years. So he loves it. He loves to hear. Yeah, so he he mentioned probably in May, I think he talked about giving them a 5-year, $250 million deal, and people looked at him crazy, like sideways, like no way, that's not gonna happen. Well, I mean, they took his advice, and they gave him a 10-year, $503 million deal. So $500 million, crazy. It's a no trade clause, so he's gonna be there unless he chooses. He has to leave, and then they can trade him to wherever he wants to, not wherever they want to. Mm-hmm. On top of that, it's through his prime. It's his prime years. He likes the organization. They take care of him. Highest paid player. I mean, what more can you say? The guy's an MVP. He took the league by storm. And who are they saying that if you're there, you had Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, and you took I forgot who you took. Was it Jacksonville? Because Jacksonville had Blake Bortles or something like that.
No,
And
Chicago, they took Trubisky.
Oh yeah, they took Trubisky. Yeah,
with the number one.
so it's just real interesting, man. From a local standpoint, I'm excited to see what Deshaun Watson is going to get. He should get the farm as well. I don't know, depending on Bill O'Brien, the GM, William O'Brien, the GM. It sets the table for Deshaun and what he's going to make. 10 years. I don't think we're going to be seeing a lot more 10 years. I doubt. I don't know. The other part of that is for Mahomes to take a 10-year deal. He also wants security. We're in such unsecure times. In such crazy times going on with the pandemic and the coronavirus and people testing positive and people playing in bubbles and what have you. So he wants to get paid. He wants his guaranteed money, and that's himself understanding that in 10 years he's probably gonna make that much anyway. Let me just go ahead and lock it down so I don't have to worry about it, and I can focus on what I want to focus on, which is football, winning more championships, winning more MVPs, elevating my teammates, and then working in the community, whatever he wants to do. So yeah, man, it's a big deal on both sides, man. I congratulate the Chiefs on that, and I also congratulate obviously Patrick Mahomes for getting paid. But it just also, he got paid $500 million, so he got paid 2/3 of what Bob McNair. Is it Bob McNair? Bob McNair or Bill McNair?
Well, Steve. What the? Because Bob McNair was our original. Whoever his son is.
He paid. But Bob McNair paid $750 million to the NFL to start a franchise here in Houston, and now you have a player that's making $500 million, in 10 years. So the numbers keep going up for players in these sports that have unions, like the NFL, MLB, NBA, and just to tie it back to UFC, the UFC guys don't get paid nothing. So I just wanted to put that in before we move on to another sports topic that I know we're gonna have some more. But it's interesting to see the differences in sports,
Yeah, man. So yeah, like you said, congrats to for Patrick Mahomes. 100% deserve it. I was of the belief that you just handed all you need to do if you're the Chiefs is you hand him a blank check and you ask him what he wants, and you pay him what he wants because he deserved it. He earned it. I don't think he's the guy who's going to burn out quick. I think he doesn't get hit very often.
He was hurt last season.
He was hurt. But he got hurt on that BS quarterback sneak that he should not have been doing. Because I know he got banged in the knee, and then Andy Reid said, "Hey, you want to do the next week was like, hey, you want to do a quarterback sneak and have everybody fall on top of you? Great, let's do it." And that's what happened. Because normally, he took that bad hit to the knee, but I think that if he doesn't do that quarterback sneak, I don't think that injury gets as bad as it did. And even then, when he came back, he just kept doing what he was doing when he got hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think that was a big part of this going forward as far as his signing a long-term deal is how he came back from that injury. And when he came back and he was at the same level, even not being really 100%, because I don't think he was 100% for the whole rest of that season. And he showed. He won. He was putting up crazy numbers. And the thing about it too is, I feel like he counts more like two players, so that's okay to pay him that much salary, because maybe two or three players, because he elevates his teammates so much by his ability, him able to scramble, him able to see the field. You don't have to put a number one receiver next to him. You really don't. You can get two number twos and he'll elevate them to two number ones.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So he's just so valuable that it makes sense. Like, that's the guy you need. That's the guy you build around. We got him. While we're playing around, like you said, back up the Brinks truck for him, and that's exactly what they did. So I'm telling you, props to the Chiefs, because not a lot of teams do that. Like, a lot of teams will BS and ask Tom Brady to take less money, or franchise him, or cut Cam Newton and say he's not a franchise quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so.
Yeah. Also, Patrick Mahomes, you better thank Jimmy Garoppolo for not having a very, very accurate arm, because if he makes that throw to who was it, Emmanuel Sanders at the time?
Yeah, it was Emmanuel Sanders.
He might not. He would have still got paid, but he wouldn't get back the Brinks truck up pay. that win in the Super Bowl definitely helped. And I always say if Jimmy Garoppolo just had a better arm, the San Francisco 49ers would have won that game.
I mean, it's true, but he doesn't. You know what I mean? He doesn't have the most accurate arm. Well, I mean, I would if I'm Patrick Mahomes, I'm sending anonymous either Rolex watches or checks, to the defensive players on the Houston Texans for giving up that huge lead that would have knocked them out early in the playoffs. And again, he would not have gotten this Brinks truck. So thank you.
27-0, and then we ended up going into the half with down. Ridiculous, man. Don't even bring it up.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it. I think I blacked that game out except for just this little part with him giving the Texans defense, I don't know, man, give them some ATVs or something, make them have fun so that whenever they see you again, they'll let you do it again, because that's kind of how things work around here.
Yeah, for sure. So one more thing, I think that this means that the Texans have to pay Deshaun at least. I was saying somewhere in the range of 40 because if he's getting because Mahomes getting paid 50 a year for the 10 years.
Well, yes, but remember, I think it's like 438 or 448 or something, and the rest is incentive. So his actual annualized pay is like 41.7 or 42.7 or 43, something like that. It's not a crazy amount, but I don't know. I mean, you would put Deshaun at what, 90% of what he makes, 80%, 95. Where would you put Deshaun Watson?
So because in my top 5 quarterbacks, I do have Mahomes number 1 right now. I think he's the best quarterback in the league, and probably underneath there is Aaron Rodgers, but he's starting to decline. And then it'd be either Deshaun or Russell. Deshaun or Russell Wilson. I love Russell Wilson.
I would say Russell Wilson. Like I
said, it's one of those two, and then it's Deshaun, and then Lamar Jackson. But even then, I don't know if he's quite there yet.
Well, I mean,
just in terms of throwing, but in terms of
it's not about throwing. It's about being a quarterback, and Lamar Jackson was the MVP last year, right?
Absolutely, and I think that's why I have him top 5.
Has Deshaun Watson got an MVP yet?
Nope. He hasn't. He has not gotten an MVP, but I still say in terms of talent, I think Deshaun Watson's a little more talented than Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson doesn't have the arm. Doesn't have the arm for me of what I would like. Like I like Lamar Jackson. I like him coming out, but I also think that it's the arm that's holding him back. Not saying that can't get better because we saw last year that majorly improved, but the majority of it was his legs. And probably behind that is like. Man, that's tough. Because I'm also thinking about like in terms of also staying healthy. Because I like Carson Wentz, but he can't stay healthy for a whole season.
No, Carson Wentz is not up there, dude.
I like him. I'm trying to think also. There's just I gotta go back. I have to look at the whole list of like all 32 quarterbacks, but they're probably my top 5. So. Deshaun's close. It's just he's not quite. I think he just has to stop taking as many sacks because a lot of sacks. Yes, it can be the line, but there's also a lot of holding on to the ball way too long. And we all know that as Texans fans that we can get very frustrated with Mr. Deshaun Watson over here in Houston because every now and then he holds on that ball and you're just like, come on, no. But if he doesn't hold on to that ball, he also doesn't make that great throw that he made against the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs.
Yeah, but then there was another play too in the playoffs where he held onto the ball and they got his leg and they said that he was down because they had his leg.
I grabbed his leg. Yeah, it wasn't over. It's like whenever it's the opposite of that Tom Brady one. I forgot who it was against, where they basically wrapped him up and so they stopped and then the play never got called dead.
Yeah. So I think the thing about Deshaun that's different, man, that I wouldn't give him that much, at least, or I don't think maybe let's not say that. Like he's gonna get what he gets, he's gonna get what he deserves, what he negotiates. But I'm saying in my book, the value is not there. Is that he has not shown a continuous increase in knowledge, understanding, and execution of the game, and of this offense. He's been up and down. He regresses, and when he regresses like bad. Where he, like you said, he holds on to the ball way too long, which a rookie would know not to hold on to it that long. He's also, I mean, and last year in the middle of the year, man, he made some ridiculous throws that were like should not have been made at all. He should have just thrown it away, or live to fight another day, and he didn't. And so I think that's what's concerning from Deshaun Watson compared to a Mahomes. Mahomes came in, he learned, he took a couple games to learn. I think he lost a couple of games in the beginning,
a few,
and then he just went on a tear, and he kind of learned and understood what he needed to do in the league. And granted, he had a way better offense.
Coach.
He has a way better coach, way better offense, and his defense wasn't the greatest, but they've shored that up now.
Yeah.
But he never regressed like Deshaun Watson has regressed in multiple years. Like, and I'm talking about the year previous, he did the same thing. He did good, and then he regresses. He does good, and he regresses. So that's why my concerns are, can he make it to that top tier and stay there? Right now, I think he's probably, like you said, top 5, maybe number 5, number 6 best quarterbacks in the league from a talent standpoint. But what's stopping him from being the best or being up there with the best is his consistency. So how are you going to pay him close to what you paid Mahomes when he hasn't proven that? And Mahomes has already proved it without a doubt, plus gotten a championship. So, they always say, dress for the job that you want, not the job that you have. So he needs to play for the money that he wants, which is the Mahomes money, not say I have the potential, because as you know, potential, is what gets a lot of coaches fired, potential and players. So
he's not getting paid this year. He's not getting paid this year. This next year is going to be very important. One, because you don't have, in my opinion, the best receiver in the game. This year, you're going to have to work with what you got. You have to work with what you got. You have Stills, you have
Cobb,
you have Fuller, and you have Cobb, and then you got who was our? You have QT, but I don't. I feel like QT's going to get cut probably this year. He's always in Bill O'Brien's doghouse. He's eventually going to get cut, and I wouldn't be mad at it. He can't stay on the field. But you got David Johnson. See if he can stay healthy. You got why am I forgetting the tight end's name?
Jordan Atkins and
not Atkins. The new one we had picked up last year.
Fells.
Yeah, Fells. There you go. And Fells. So you have a very good safety blanket in Fells. I like Fells a lot. I think he grew as Deshaun's safety blanket. Key is we know Stills can stay on the field. We can Cobb kind of elevate his game. And
can he stay on the field because he gets hurt?
Can he stay on the field?
Can Will Fuller stay on the field?
Fuller's the big one. And then there's the talk around the town of a possible AB. But if AB comes, like, can you stay on the field? Like, it's
for different reasons.
Yeah, for different reasons. Like there's the injury reasons for Cobb and Fuller, and there's the personal issues that one has been going through. Hopefully, he's been working with Michael Irvin, he says he's supposed to work with him. No, not Michael. With Dion. I know Dion said he's gonna be working with him.
He should be working with T.O. Hey,
I don't know. T.O. still needs to work with Dion. What are you talking about?
Okay, I have 2 questions around the same thing for you. Mm-hmm. I want to see your take on it. So let me ask both questions before you answer both questions, right? Mm-hmm. So the first question is, would you take Jadeveon Clowney back or AB? Number 1. Just let's just say all things being equal, 1-year deals. Just say 1-year deals. And then 2, because you can only pick one of them. And number 2, who would we get more wins with? Jadeveon Clowney back or with an AB?
I would prefer to have a JD back. I'm not too worried about this receiving core. Like, this receiving core is talented. The skills positions are talented if they could stay on the field. Our pass rush is still bad. Like, our pass rush can't get to the quarterback. I would rather have JD. I know he has his problems. He's not a high stat guy either, but he's a high pressure guy.
What did he last year without him?
Exactly. We didn't do very great. We didn't do. He's as I'm saying. He's not a high stat guy. He's a high pressure guy. He's gonna put pressure on the quarterback all night long. He might give you a little dirty plays, but ask me about like other basketball players. I'm not one that's very upset about dirty plays and all the time. If you're hurting people on purpose, but every now and then you gotta let them. I always say the way I would have attacked Tom Brady in the past before we started beating him because we got one on him. The ways I would have said before is like hit that man. I would tell the guy hit him first play of the game. If it's late, I don't care. Hit him hard. Let him know you're gonna be here all day long. I'll pay your fine, whatever. Hit him hard though.
Oh, so you want a bounty gate part 2 is what you're saying?
Why not? Why not? I'm not mad at it.
I don't know. I think I don't know. The thing about David Clowney is that he had so many bad flags, man. Like literally, I mean, he ended one game for us that was when he was here, that was gonna, be make it or break it to go to the playoffs on a damn jumping off sides. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's just and I'm sure you know how Bill O'Brien is, man. Those are the kind of things that really, piss him off, dude, because the little things like that shouldn't be there. You shouldn't be making those kind of mental mistakes, especially when you're a veteran, because at that point he was a veteran. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe in my mind, I'm thinking like, who's going to make a bigger impact? Like, will Clowney come in and make a bigger impact on the defensive side, or is that, that side of the ball so far gone? You need too much talent, to make up for what they are. That you get an AB in, and that just puts you, instead of like 20 25 points a game, it gets you to 29 30 points a game, 31 points a game.
Just outscore everybody.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like your race car, your NASCAR, you're just trying to outscore everybody and let the chips fall where they may on the defensive side. That's my thought process on it.
You make arguments for both, honestly, for both sides, I think, because you also got to deal with if you're gonna bring up JD's tendencies in terms of the game, you have to bring up AB's tendencies in life. So if you think
field circus,
you think JD is gonna make problems on the field, you're gonna have problems in the locker room with Antonio Brown, unless he comes back and he's shown that he's made things better. And you know what? He might not have. I don't know. That's not for me to say.
Dude, we haven't heard from him in like a good 6 months, man. So
that's a good thing, honestly. Like normally you'd be like, oh, you haven't heard from this guy? That's not good. No, not hearing from Antonio Brown for a little bit is a very good thing. It might mean that he's working on himself, and that's what he really needs the most, is he has to help himself. But let's go ahead and before we're gonna jump into it, but also great on Cam signing with the Patriots. I don't know in terms of, because there's no talent over there, but
there's no talent over there, man.
But you get to be working with Bill Belichick, so I guess there's always look on the bright side.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, that's why Tom Brady left. I mean, seriously, there's no restocking of the cupboards, as they say, and if you weren't able to get it done in Carolina with Christian McCaffrey and
talented and worse over there in New England,
that's what I'm saying, and it just sucks. And he signed a 1 year, like he's gonna win the starting job, but he's on a veterans minimum, which is stupid because it's Cam freaking Newton. You know what I'm saying? And it just sucks. But I mean, it is what it is. That's what kind of signings Bill Belichick does, and that's the kind of stuff that he gets away with because he's won so many championships. And who knows, man? Maybe this is the beginning of a new era for New England, because Cam Newton still, I mean, he's what, 34?
He's 31. Like no, he's 31.
Oh, dude, if he's gonna be there for like 4 or 5 years, we're gonna be like, damn, that was a sneaky good signing from Bill Belichick. You know what I mean?
For sure, man. Absolutely. And he's also playing in the AFC East.
Yeah. I mean,
you gotta beat out. You gotta go beat Josh Allen 2 times a year. You gotta go beat Sam Darnold twice, and probably Ryan Fitzpatrick this year twice. Now, when Tua's back, we'll see. when Tua's ready to play, we'll see. But for now, I say it's a toss up. I still give the edge of the Bills. But Bill Belichick will pull off some wins that you're just like, damn. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't count Bill Belichick out, especially when he's going up against. I mean, I don't see. I see Josh Allen as talented. I don't see him as the next level. Yet. No, maybe he shows us something, but I just like how Bill Belichick's defense go up against those young QBs and kind of makes them into look like rookies, you know?
Yeah, he shows them some things they've never seen before, and it confuses them. All right, man, let's go ahead and jump into this 251 preview, dude, because we didn't have a UFC event this weekend. One still hasn't kicked off, even though one is going to start kicking off their stuff very soon, because Asia is a lot better than the United States. It's a lot better off right now than the United States.
What?
So,
how is that possible?
It's crazy, right? Who would have thought that maybe shutting everything down for a good amount of time would make things better? Who knew? But so the UFC is coming back this weekend. UFC 251 on Fight Island. I guess they're calling it Yes Island. Is that what it is? Yes.
It's called Yas.
Yas Queen.
Yes, that island.
Yeah. So, but I mean, we all know what it is. It's Fight Island, baby. So we're getting ready. It seems everyone has passed their COVID tests in order to get onto the island. So everyone's there besides Jorge Masvidal's coach, which
I was saying you're burying the lead, man. You're burying the lead.
Hey. I'm build. This is called build up. It's called, give me a little taste. So like you were saying, when I was saying about the COVID test. One guy tested positive, it seems like. And it turns out it was the main event competitor, Gilbert Burns. Luckily, it wasn't the one that we need to actually be there for a championship match to happen, but it was Gilbert Burns. And this is unfortunate because I was actually really getting very excited about this fight. Two teammates. Gilbert Burns has been impressive in his last couple fights, knocking out Damian Maia, handling Tyron Woodley very easily. So I was really getting excited to see how these two guys were going to match up. We all know that Usman is a ground guy. He's going to take you to the mat. He's going to wrestle you. But we also know that Gilbert Burns is a jiu-jitsu guy. So he's comfortable on the ground. Can also stand. Has knockout power, as we've seen. Not sure if Usman quite has the knockout power, although he TKO'd Covington. But I haven't seen him knock out anybody. But he's probably done it in his past. But at the UFC level, I haven't seen him knock anybody out yet. So it was going to be interesting to see what happened. And the fact that they both knew each other. Unfortunately, we're not going to get that fight, but we're getting the fight that everybody wanted before this. And we're getting Masvidal versus Usman. And when the reports first came out, you sent me the test. I mean, you sent me the tweet. I was upset. I was like, damn. Like, I personally didn't think that Usman would be willing to take the fight on short notice. I didn't think he was willing to take anything because that's the champion that he's shown to be. He's not a guy that's going to fight you on short notice, which as a champion, he has every right to that. He has every right to not take a fight whenever he wants to. But we heard the jawing back and forth between Masvidal and Usman. We even saw Covington try and get in on it too. And we got the signings done. We got Masvidal versus Usman. And you know what? Masvidal doesn't lose in this. I don't know if Masvidal loses. Like, he won. He gets his money.
No.
And if he loses, he says, "Hey, I took this fight on 6 days." He has everything going in his favor. Like my brother texted me and was like, "I don't know if this is gonna be bad. Like Masvidal needs to win." I was like, "No, he doesn't. He has everything in his corner. Like, he does not have to win. He can lose this fight no matter how bad and still say, dude, 6 days notice. I need another. Run it back. Like, give me a full fight camp." And he's gonna get it.
Well, I mean, that's the public perception. So yes, that's the public perception. So I guess going back a couple of things. So let me rewind it. Gilbert Burns fighting Kamaru Usman is something that I felt was wrong. He was skipping over a lot of people. Yes, he's on a run, but again, it's the pandemic run, because he's willing to fight anybody. He moved up from 155 to 170, and
probably why he caught it, honestly.
Huh?
That might be why he caught COVID, because he is on the move. He's doing different. He's going and working out.
Yeah, and the thing is that I wasn't the only one who's seen it. I'm sure everybody else has seen it as well. But they only gave it to him because he was willing to accept the lower offer, man. And that's why we said that that's not a true fight. I mean, it's a fight, and there's some interesting aspects to it, but I didn't think it was going to be a competitive fight. I thought Usman was going to be the bigger man. He was going to outstrike him because he's a better striker than him. And Gilbert Burns was going to struggle to take him down. you know, and Usman wasn't going to be stupid and taking him down and getting into his world. So the fight that everybody wanted from the beginning, which with another guy who's on a run, and his run is also wonky, I'll say it, funky, however you want to call it, because the people that he's beat haven't been world beaters, I would say. I mean, he beat Diaz coming off of a huge layoff where Diaz looked like his feet and hands were stuck in mud and sand and quicksand and whatever you want. I mean, he was getting hit 4 times before he even threw one hit, you know, one punch. Before that, he knocked out Ben Askren in 5 seconds, which is a phenomenal highlight reel knockout, but it doesn't show anything that Ben Askren belonged in the ring, you know, in the octagon.
That's what we learned from that.
And then before that, you know, he beat Darren Till, who is now a 185 pounder, and Darren Till was piecing him up, you know, for that whole fight until he caught him with that weird running punch that Till didn't see coming and knocked him out. So, you know, I like Masvidal. I told you I've liked Masvidal since the beginning. I grew up watching his backyard fights, watching him in Bulldog fight, watching him in all these crazy fight promotions. I wrote a piece on him when we were writing for Texas Sports Review about his history and where he's come from and how he is game bred. You know, that he's true to his nickname, which he'll fight anybody, anywhere, anytime. I mean, you can ask Leon Edwards that. You know, he fought him after a fight. You know, I mean, like it don't matter. It don't matter for Jorge Masvidal. You know, so that's the fight everybody wanted to see, even though I know that this is a tough fight for Jorge Masvidal because of the wrestling acumen that Kamaru Usman has. I still wanted to see it because I like Masvidal. He has been somewhat of a journeyman, and he's finally put a string of wins together. He's finally getting the limelight. He's finally getting his character, his personality out in front of a lot of people, and they like it. They like his little cockiness and the street Jesus and baptize you and this and that, 3-piece and the soda. So I'm glad for it. This is the one everybody wanted to see. Now, will Masvidal be able to overcome the difference in athletic ability and skill of a Kamaru Usman? That's yet to be seen. The one thing I will say is it does look like it's been on 6 days notice, but it hasn't been on 6 days notice. It has not. No, it's not. I mean, Masvidal's been trying to get this fight forever, for 3 months. He's been negotiating with the UFC. The UFC has been, you know, blackballing them and not willing to negotiate, not giving him his money. But that did not stop Jorge Masvidal from training. And from what I've heard and read through the pipeline and what I know is he flew in nothing but wrestlers for this training camp. So he is prepared. He never stopped preparing. He is prepared. He's gonna be prepared. He's not gonna look like he hasn't been training. He's not gonna look like he doesn't know what Kamaru Usman's trying to do. So, like you said, this is a win for Jorge Masvidal, because in the public eye, it looks like, oh, he took it on 6 days. But in the back of his mind, he's had a full camp with nothing but wrestlers. And so if he loses, it was 6 days. If he wins, I've been training for this for 3 months, and I got my W, and I get the belt.
Yep.
So
go ahead.
I'm just saying it's really interesting. It's a really good fight. I'm very excited about it. This is a fight we should have had from the beginning, you know. And this also shows the bad faith that freaking Dana White has, man. Just pay him the money from the beginning. This is the fight everybody wants. Everybody's literally 10 times more excited for this fight than Gilbert Burns, and you ended up doing it anyways. You know what I mean? Come on,
absolutely. Man. I'm excited to see. Honestly, the two things I'm really excited to see, besides the fights, because obviously I want to see the fight, but I'm excited to see the pay-per-view buys, and I'm excited to see the pay, because I want to see what Masvidal got. Like, was he able to convince?
We're not gonna see it.
I know we're not. We're probably not. But I would like to see it, just because I would be like, dang, like, because this was actually the perfect storm for Masvidal to get the money he was asking for, because not only was this a guy who, you know, was on a run, and Usman's and you finally got Usman to sign on the dotted line. Goddamn, but in the amount of time that it happened, it's too late to cancel and find a new main event, I guess. But it's also not too far away so that you can get Masvidal and get him ready to fight. Because, like you said, we all knew for people that pay attention, he's been ready for this fight since the beginning of the year. He's
Mhm.
won this fight. He finally got it. And if you don't think that he was like, because I think he was on the first take, said that he has to lose 20 pounds in a couple of days. You think that he really needs to lose 20 pounds? No, like he's already close to weight. I'm pretty sure he's probably keeping his normal
Well, dude,
schedule in terms of weight.
he's one of those that doesn't cut weight because he's normally a 155er.
There you go. So
dude, the way it's all mind games. It's all mind games that he wants Usman to think that he hasn't been training, that he's overweight, that he's gonna be lethargic, and that's not gonna happen. You know, the sad thing is we're not gonna see the pay because the only reason we get to see the pay is because the athletic commission is a public commission and they release the salaries of whoever is sanctioned under the commission. It's in Yas Island in Abu Dhabi. There's no commission, so there's going to be no. We're not going to know anything unless somebody says what they got paid or whatever. And then we got to take their word for it because they could be lying as well. So it sucks. You know, another real cool thing is, you know, how Kobe Covington's been doing those fight picks, right, for that company. So he's going to have to pick. I'm sure he would have picked Gilbert Burns, but now he has to pick between Jorge Masvidal.
How much you gonna bet he puts it on Masvidal? I think he puts it on Masvidal.
Yeah, I don't know. He calls Masvidal Judas because he stabbed him in his back somehow. I don't know how.
Or he just leaves it. It's a draw.
Yeah, or he picks another fight. But the other thing too you mentioned, and I want to kind of push back on this a little bit is, I mean, in reality, dude, there's 2 championship fights on this card.
No, you're right.
You don't need, and honestly, you probably have like a third awesome fight between Rose Namajunas and Andrade. You know, Jessica Andrade. So you don't need Masvidal versus Usman. They could have easily said, "Hey, we have 4 fight cards in 10 days. Let's push it to the 4th one and see who we can get instead of scrambling." But because this is the pay-per-view, because Dana White is all about, you know, doing it big on the first one, and you know, so he kind of put that pressure on himself. And again, it goes to show. Now the other thing too. This is ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous planning from the UFC standpoint, man. If we're in this pandemic, if we're what are we? And we're in June, July, right? We've been doing this since March, right? They had to cancel shows in March, right? Wouldn't you put something in place as the UFC to say our top 3, you know, fights, the main, the co-main, and the one right before that, especially if they're all 3 championship fights, we're going to have backups to each one of these so that if one of these guys tests positive or one of these guys can't go, we have somebody that's an alternate that's going to, you know, move right into that position.
Yep.
And they didn't have that. And that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous, man. At this point in the game, that should be the new normal for them. That should be business as usual for them.
Yeah.
And it's not, which is ridiculous.
Well, that shows how well Jorge Masvidal knows these guys. He stayed ready. He figured something like this is going to happen. And I'm excited, man. It's going to be a great fight, I think. Maybe it might not be as great because if you know, I told you it'll come down to that first takedown attempt. If Usman takes him down immediately with no defense, or he's not met with like a few punches on the way down, it's going to be a long night. But if Masvidal can stop that first flurry of takedowns in the first round, can show that Usman maybe let Usman hang around a little bit on the feet. You know, let him get confident. Like, hey, I can take this guy on the feet, and then boom, you hit him with a knockout. Then cool, yeah. But I'm excited to see the talk between these two. The promo the original promo they already sent out was fire. It was great. And it's going from Gilbert Burns and Usman, you know, mutual respect to these 2 guys can't stand each other. It's going to be so much fun because, you know, I like those fights. When 2 guys don't like each other, it's always a great time.
Yeah. Have you seen that photo of misconnection between them?
No. Oh, yeah. Wait, no. Which one?
Where what's his name? Masvidal's walking into an elevator and Usman's walking out, and they literally, like, you can tell they didn't even know that either one of them was there.
Oh wow!
Like, it's crazy. I'll show it to you, man. But it's crazy because Usman isn't looking to his right, and then somebody calls him, and he looks the other way, and Masvidal's already halfway in, so he doesn't even see. Usman come out of the other set of elevators. So it's crazy, man. Like I don't know. I think it's meant to be. They don't like each other. They've talked mess to each other before. Usman looked like a I don't know a mess talker and not really about it. In the last time that we saw, whenever he started talking mess, whenever they started pushing him away, and Masvidal called him out. He goes, "Oh, you're gonna let that guy push you away? Okay." So. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just a very interesting fight. I'm very excited about it. And also this has given us another fight. Now, Gilbert Burns is saying he's still the number one contender, which I still don't think he is. I'd like to see him fight some of the other guys like Kobe Covington and things of that nature. But we might see a different fight, which is also interesting because Nate Diaz said, "Now this is a real fight" or something like that.
Oh yeah, and then Gilbert Burns clapped back.
Gilbert Burns took that as an offense to himself and his abilities, and he said that he would maul Nate Diaz and he would slap him up. So maybe we get to see that fight. Maybe we get to see that fight, man. That'd be a good fight in my opinion.
Yeah, man, I think that'd be a great fight. Two guys that are game. Like I'm never say no to two guys that are willing to duke it out, like whether it be on the ground or on the feet. We know both guys are willing to go wherever the hell the fight takes. Although one would prefer to stand. But and also if Gilbert Burns looking for a paycheck, man, that's a paycheck right there. He sells, dude.
He said I'll beat him with coronavirus. I don't. So we get a lot that spins off of this one main fight, because it has so many repercussions. I mean, Kobe Covington sitting out there, he did well in the loss to Usman. I don't like him.
Absolutely.
I don't like him. I think it should stick. But he's a very good fighter. He's a very good fighter. He's very tough. I mean, he had a broken jaw in that fight.
And he's doing what he's if you don't like him, he's doing something right. Like he's doing what he's setting out to do. He's not. Yeah, he doesn't try to be like. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's a heel, but he's good. He's really good, and there's a lot of interesting matchups for him out there, man. Like,
absolutely. All right, so I pulled up the rankings real quick. If you want to look at them real quick, give me a second. We can go ahead and take a quick glance. Give me a second. For those of you guys who can't tell, even though I am, I went through it. I did test positive. But feeling a lot better, so I got the old brewski ready because I'm getting ready for fight week this week, man.
Good job, man. I'm glad you're doing better, man.
Absolutely. I'm just waiting for my test to come back negative so I can go back to work, honestly, because I let my boss know that my test came back because I went and got tested last Friday. So that's not very far away. So that's very recent. So I got my test back yesterday, came back positive, let my boss know, and it seemed like he was trying to say that he was going to say, "Oh, if you're not feeling any symptoms, come in." But I'm assuming he called corporate, and they were like, "No, he's got to have a negative test." Yeah. Because I'm gonna go back and get tested Saturday, guys. So hopefully, and it's at Walgreens, so I know Walgreens is their tests coming back very quickly.
Yes.
But my fear is that those tests, because I've heard that even though they come back quickly, they might not always be.
There's some accurate. False negatives and
we'll
false
see.
positives.
Because I was gonna do.
Oh no, you're there?
All right, we're back. Sorry, I had a little lag. But yeah, so I've heard like that Walgreens isn't the best, but CVS is trash because my first test I took still never got my results back.
That's ridiculous, man.
Yeah. So all right, we're looking at the rankings here on UFC.com, and we got, as you see right here, we have Kamaru Usman as a champ, Gilbert Burns, as we know, number 1, Covington number 2 still. It was a great fight between him and Usman. I thought it was gonna be a snoozer because I thought they were both gonna wrestle each other, and they said nope, let's fight, and they did. So it was a great fight. So of course he didn't go very far down. Masvidal there at number 3, as he's been for a while. Leon Edwards at 4, Tyron Woodley at 5. Now and then we got 6, Stephen Thompson, who I am excited to see his next fight. Whoever he decides to fight, I'm excited because I still think he's got it. He showed against Vicente Luque, man. the dude can scrap, man. I love the guy. Yeah. 1, I love his personality, and 2, like he's a great fighter.
Yeah, he's just getting a little bit older. So here in my eyes, here are the rankings. It's Kobe Covington number 1, Masvidal number 2, Edwards number 3, Thompson number 4, and Chiesa number 5. That would be my rankings, and those would be the guys that I want to see fight because Maya got knocked out by Burns, Woodley got beat by Burns. So I'd like to see, a carousel between Burns, Covington, Edwards, Thompson, and Chiesa because Chiesa, although I think he win his last fight? I think he won he beat that dude up, right?
Yeah, absolutely mauled him for the entire fight.
Yeah,
I forgot who he fought, but he mauled him for rounds.
And he looked huge, right?
Absolutely, looked like a monster.
Yeah, so I want to see him fight. I think he's on his way up too. So those are the guys that are making up the Shark Tank, man, at 170 pounds, man, and I just don't think that Gilbert Burns is number one. I mean, he's very talented and he's up there. He deserves to be up there, but not at number one right now.
Yeah, well, don't forget that I also said that I wanted to see one more fight before he should have got the Usman fight. I think he should have taken one of the top 5 guys before he got the Usman fight. Unfortunately, that's not how things shaked out because, as you know, we're in the Corona era, in the COVID era, and that's why unfortunately Leon Edwards is at 4 because he would have had that fight against Woodley and not Gilbert Burns, but because of the COVID happening, that fight got canceled. I know he was stuck over there in the UK. It's probably a little easier for him to travel now. So I would like to see if he can get one of these fights against a Covington or a Thompson, something like that. I don't think he necessarily needs to fight Woodley now because Woodley's stock is a little bit lower.
Yeah, he's low.
But Thompson coming off a win against Luque, Covington coming off of a very good fight against Usman, those would be 2 really good fights at the will and the sea.
Yeah, Edwards, Covington, Edwards, Burns, Covington, Thompson, Covington. I mean, those are all great fights, man, that we want to see, that we want to see coming up. Chiesa's on a 3-fight win streak, man, with wins over Carlos Condit, Diego Sanchez, and Rafael dos Anjos. So he's beating the older veterans of the game. But man, he looks strong and he's not young anymore. He's 32 years old. So I definitely want to see him fight up there as well.
Absolutely. So for those who don't know, this is a pretty stacked or very top heavy card. The 251 card is very top heavy because the main card has a lot of very, very high profile fights. And then you just kind of have some fights that you're just like, okay. But as we've learned, don't sleep on those. Those lower tier fights because they're on the pay-per-view. Even though they're on the prelims, you got the casual eyes on you now because everyone cares about a pay-per-view. The pay-per-view sells. Pay-per-view gets you eyes, and these guys are going to be looking to make some waves. So I don't necessarily know a lot of the guys. I can go down the line and you stop me when you got something you want to talk about. So first fight on the early prelims card, you got Martin Day versus Davey Grant, bantamweight. Women's bantamweight, you got Carol Rosa versus Vanessa Mello. On flyweight, you got number 14 Raulian Paiva taking on Zalagaz Zumagulov on the flyweight, and we all know how them flyweight fights go, guys. Those are always exciting.
Keep an eye on that one.
Absolutely. And then you got heavyweight closing it out with Marcin Tybura versus Alexander Romanov.
Okay, so this fight, Tybura has been a bust. He was supposed to be the next big thing. Not the next big thing, but he was supposed to be decent at heavyweight, but he hasn't really been that great. And this guy, Alexander Romanov, there was a big stink about him when he signed with the UFC because he's been, I guess, putting people's lights out or winning or what have you. He's undefeated so far. So that's going to be one to look out for in the early prelims.
All right, there you go. See, already. Next up, we got lightweight. We got Leonardo Santos taking on Roman Bogatov. Then you got. Go ahead.
I know Santos. We've seen him fight before, I think too. But if you look at Bogatov's record, he's 10-0. He's undefeated, so that might be another one we want to watch. All
right, then we got featherweight, probably the most exciting division right now, besides bantamweight. You got Makwan Amirkhani taking on Danny Henry.
Amirkhani's alternating wins and losses. So I mean, I think he had a highlight reel submission or something in the past, but not a big deal. So yeah, I mean, just a decent fight, I guess.
All right, and then we got one here that I'm gonna be having my eye on, Elizu dos Santos taking on. Oh wow, I don't have the Deleski. So Elizu Zaleski dos Santos taking on Muslim Salikov. Salikov, if I remember correctly, had a very big knockout in his last fight. I think it was his UFC debut. So he's getting a very big first challenge here in Zaleski dos Santos. But Dos Santos looking for a win because he's on a kind of a skid right now.
Well,
So
he won his last fight in March, and
okay.
then before that, in August of last year, he lost to Li Jianlang,
Mm-hmm.
and then before that he beat Curtis Millender submission. So he's alternating wins and losses right now.
Yeah. So but this is the two guys that are going to be banging, man. So right there in the welterweight division, 170. It's going to be a big fight, guys. So that's also one to keep your eye on. And then the featured fight we got in the light heavyweight, Volkan Ozdemir taking on Jiri Prochazka.
So I mean, I'm interested in this fight. I don't know why they're putting this newcomer, against Ozdemir. Ozdemir has shown that the losses he has had were, I mean, even that loss he had to, remember he lost to, when did he lose to him? I think he lost to Dominic Reyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did he? When did he lose?
I don't know. We're getting our first look at the bubble in the NBA on Bleacher Report.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll see how this fight goes. But this is one of those fights where one guy's got a lot to lose and one guy's got a lot to win.
Oh no! He lost to Anthony Smith, and it was a really close fight up till he lost in round 3 by submission. So Ozdemir showed me a lot, man. I don't question him anymore. I don't know. I feel like this is a crazy fight to put a newcomer up against Volkan Ozdemir.
Yeah. This is it's a weird thing, like to throw something like this at Ozdemir. Maybe nothing is moving in the 205 division. So
dude, Ozdemir's ranked like
number 5. He's 7.
He's 7?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
He's ranked 7 in the division, taking this fight against a nobody. I'm not saying that to be disrespectful, but literally, I don't know. No one knows who he is. He doesn't even have a picture on UFC.com. This is one of those fights where it's a lot to lose and a lot to gain. So you got a lot to lose from Ozdemir, not much to gain, honestly, except a paycheck, and then you have everything to win for his opponent, for Prochazka.
His only losses are against Daniel Cormier, Anthony Smith, and Dominic Reyes. And Dominic Reyes is the one that I'm telling you that it was a split decision loss, and he probably could have won that fight as well. So
very odd. But we'll go ahead and let's jump in the main card, dude. We have a lot to say about every one of these fights. We already covered Masvidal and Usman. I'm gonna go at probably the least exciting fight that I'm ready for that we're gonna get is the women's flyweight Amanda Ribas or however she wants to say it versus Paige Van Zandt. This is gonna be a long night for Paige Van Zandt, or it could be a very short night because Amanda Ribas might just tap her out. In her last fight, I remember telling you this girl Ribas, man, she is the real deal in the flyweight division. She can stand up with you. She can go to the ground with you. She knows her Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and it's just something about I already know if you're fighting Paige Van Zandt, you already know what to do. You go for that arm. You go for that arm that's been broken 3 times?
3 times in the past
5 years?
Yeah.
Like that's not a good look. Once in training, once in recovery. Like it wasn't even training, it was just she was recovering. She was in rehab and she re-broke that arm. So this is not a good look. I don't know why Paige Van Zandt is taking this fight. I don't even know why she's fighting, honestly. She says she makes more money from everything else she does. She does the modeling.
TikTok,
she does the TikTok. she does
the annoying posts with their husband, boyfriend guy, whatever he is. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I feel like Paige Van Zandt is one of those people that people want to see get beat up. And she's in the perfect sport. She's in the perfect sport for it, especially going up against Ribas or Ribas, however you say it, like you mentioned. But I just feel like, I don't know, man. This might be one of those times where we actually get to see the comeuppance, and we'll see how she reacts to maybe a loss or a bad loss or a bad beat. You know what I mean?
For Paige Van Zandt?
Yeah, for Van Zandt.
I think everyone who is a Paige Van Zandt fan needs to get ready to say goodbye. I just think she, like you said, she makes more money like I've said, she makes more money doing other stuff. She doesn't make more money from fighting. If you like fighting, cool. That's great. You can be one of those people. But I don't ever get that feeling from her. I get the feeling she likes probably the lifestyle of fighting, the press that you get, which is perfectly fine, if you want. But she has that. She got that from the Sports Illustrated bikini version, which is great. like, so like there's that. I just think she's done. Whereas Amanda Ribas is a contender. I think she's a contender. She's got it, man. She just has it. Like that's the thing is I can't even really put it into words. She just has it from her last fight. If you want anybody going up the ranks in this flyweight division, it's Amanda Ribas because I can see a really great fight between her and Shevchenko in her near future. So at least
she's beat a who's who, man. She beat Emily Whitmire, Mackenzie Dern, Randa Marcos, and she's gonna add Paige Van Zandt to that. They're both.
That's one thing we can say about her. She's adding names.
Yeah, they're both 26 years old, but they're at two different levels, man.
Yeah, man. Ribas is a contender. That's all I could say. And for the age that she is, and the talent level that she's at, she's going to be a staple in this flyweight division. So everyone's saying Shevchenko's gone through the division. Just give Ribas a few more fights, and we'll be seeing Shevchenko with a very worthy competitor.
The thing is that they're not going to give her a few more fights. If she beats Paige Van Zandt,
she might get it.
It's probably going to be announced right away because Shevchenko's over there like, I'm hungry. Who are you going to feed me to? And it might be one of those things like the Cejudo and Demetrius Johnson, where Cejudo wasn't ready to fight Johnson, but Johnson had cleaned out the division and there was nobody left, so they just threw him out there and he got beat so fast because he wasn't prepared, he wasn't ready.
Yeah,
he didn't know what it was to compete at that level, and then he went back to the drawing board, got I think 3 or 4 more fights underneath him, and then challenged him again, and that's when he won. So this might be the same thing with Ribas. Maybe she beats Paige Van Zandt, they throw her to the wolf. She gets beat, and then she realizes, hey, I got to do more to compete with Shevchenko. And then later on the road on the rematch is when it becomes a good fight.
Wouldn't be the worst thing. Honestly, wouldn't be the worst path to the title because we've seen it happen plenty of times where someone you go to a certain level before you're quite ready. You learn how to lose, and all of a sudden, Shevchenko, it might happen quicker because that flyweight division is so. She's already gone through it. A couple of times. So, because there's not one flyweight fight that I'm really looking forward to Shevchenko doing. Like Calvillo, no. Chikagian, no. I mean, we're gonna get her in Calderwood, but I'm pretty sure she handles Calderwood. Lauren Murphy, no. No. Like, there's nothing here that I'm necessarily excited for Shevchenko. So the best thing would be for Amanda Ribas to get through there, man. Oh, you know what, dude? I'm looking. Oh my God! Wait, hold on. This is that flyweight, right? Yeah, this is that flyweight. This is her first fight at flyweight because she's ranked 14 in strawweight. Amanda Ribas.
Strawweight is what, 115?
Yeah, that's Jean. So this isn't even her normal weight class.
That might be a problem if Paige Van Zandt's a lot bigger than her.
Yeah, it's true. So I don't know. Now we gotta maybe look at it from a different angle. Maybe, but she's had plenty of time. I think. It's also talent. We already know. A couple with 10 pounds. I'm not too worried. And going up, as we've known, it's probably going up might be a little easier for Ribas.
Yeah, I think she'll be fine, man.
Yeah. So let's go and move on to the next one. The long-awaited rematch. Jessica Andrade.
Return. The return of Rose.
Yes, the rematch and the return. So we're getting Jessica Andrade taking on Nama Yunus at the strawweight division. Number 1, number 2. Unfortunately, it is Andrade number 1, Nama Yunus number 2. But Nama Yunus coming back from getting dropped on her head. The luckiest, not luckiest. It just was a very fortunate turn of events for Andrade. Andrade is gigantic for the division. Nama Yunus, I think, is small for the division. She's great. She handled the division, but she is small. She is small for the division. Going up against Andrade, who just basically picked her up and dropped her on her head. Was losing the fight from Bell from the first round to the minute that she was getting beat when she dropped on her head, like dropped on her head, just happened to be in the right angle, gets the win, wins the championship, and immediately loses it to Weili Zhang, Zhang Weili. So all I'm gonna say is that this is more about where is Namajunas in her head. This is what this fight's about. If Namajunas is in the right headspace, Namajunas handles Andrade easily. Got anything else to add to that?
I mean, this I went back and I saw this fight, man, because I have to this day, and I'll challenge you to see if you have something similar, but I've never seen a fight so one-sided and dominated by one person, and that person ends up losing the fight. You know, that's how dominating Rose Namajunas was in this fight. Like, Andrade didn't have anything, dude. Like, you go back and you look at it, she's like throwing these big winging punches. They're not even close. You know, Namajunas is piecing her up, you know, jabbing, you know, hooks. Her footwork is perfect. She's not there. Like, she's a ghost to Andrade because Andrade can't find her. And dude, Andrade's face is busted up, dude, like bloody, bleeding. And it's just ridiculous, dude, how far outmatched she was in that fight and how she still won the fight. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a mistake. It was a mistake that Rose made. She's not going to make that mistake again. That's not what champions do. And that's something we'll talk about later too in the co-main. But you're right about the headspace. You know, where is Rose at? You know, we all know that Rose struggles with, you know, with some things of that nature, specifically, you know, anxiety or you know, I would even call it PTSD, like the thing from when Connor threw that thing through the bus, and you know where her headspace is at. You know, she was fine when she fought her the first time. I don't think she's scared of her. I think she won't make the same mistake again, and I don't think she's gonna have that killer instinct that me and you were talking about, where, you know, she was playing with her food. I just think she's gonna be a lot smarter and not get into positions where she can be slammed. And she's just gonna keep, you know, running around and piecing her up for the entirety of the fight, 3 rounds, and then she's gonna win a decision. And I feel like that's the best way for her to come back and ease her way back in and get her hand raised, you know, by taking the least amount of risk as possible.
Yeah, before you got to go up against either Jojic again or against Zhang.
Exactly. Like, I feel like this is a great comeback fight. Yeah, comeback fight, boost her confidence. She knows she's a better overall fighter than her. It's just, let me show people, you know, let me show myself and show people that I am, you know?
Yeah. Whereas last time I was saying she needed to hurry up and finish, I think this would be the perfect time for her to just go 3 rounds, full 3 rounds, piecing her up the entire time, get a unanimous decision, and get that. Okay, I can go a full fight. I can piece up people because that's what she's known for. She's gonna get in there and she's gonna piece you up all night long. And really boost that confidence up, because really all that's left is either Zhang or Jojic.
Yeah.
Because there's no one else right now in the 115. Like, she does. I mean, in the 115, she doesn't need to prove herself. I don't think she can just go out there, get on Josh, and say, you know, I want my title back. And then, you know, then it's all up to Joanna to say, okay, you know what? No, I want one more try. And then, you know, they figure it out that way. But this is going to be all about Namajunas. Where is your head at? And if it's in the right headspace, man, we could be getting a return of Namajunas and start seeing Thug Rose make her way back to where she wants to be.
Yeah, man. I mean, she was a great champion, man. And I don't just say that. I say that from she's like a true martial artist. She doesn't talk a lot of mess. She doesn't talk a lot of, you know, she respects her opponents, and she's a true martial artist where she's trying to grow and get better with every fight. So I definitely want to see her on the stage again. And then obviously if she gets past Andrade, which I think she will, I mean, those are great matchups against another one against Jojic, and then the first time against Zhang Weili. Those are great fights that I want to see, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, even though she's beaten Jojic, one, this isn't the same Jojic. And two, this isn't the same with Namajunas. This is gonna be two different. They're both gonna be two very different fighters from the last time they fought. And then I mean, who doesn't want to see Namajunas versus Zhang? Zhang proving herself up against Jurjejic, and then Namajunas trying to make her way back to that mountaintop. Man, it'd be a great story. Great promos, I'm sure.
Absolutely, dude. I think there's just good fights with those two women up there. The last fight with Jurjejic and Rose was a very close fight. I think Jurjejic thought she won that fight. I think it was close. I gave it to Rose, but it was close. And it's just the same too with Jurjejic and Weili Zhang or Zhang Weili. That was a close fight too, man. And I probably had Jurjejic kind of winning that fight. But I can see where they gave it to her opponent because of the power and things
of that nature. She's robbed.
It's a complete robbery. Complete robbery.
We watched that fight together, and you literally live. People can go back and watch it live. You picked, you had Jurjejic, I had Zhang. So it was just what you thought, basically. Like I took into account the look of each lady, and it was hard to look past that giant bulbous forehead at the end of that fight.
That's true.
It's very hard to get that out of your mind when you're making your points. But
stop looking at them as objects. Okay, they're people.
You're right. I'm sorry. Well, you know what? Tell Joanna to stop posting when she posts. All right. Next up, man, bantamweight title. Look at this. Number 3, Petr Yan taking on number 11, Jose Aldo. 0-1 in the bantamweight division. Jose Aldo. We all know. We all know that he won that fight against Marlon Moraes, and that's why he's ranked. Because he lost and still got ranked. But unfortunately, I think I would prefer Aljamain having the championship fight in this one. But
well, if Triple C's not there, Aljamain is the uncrowned champ. He's shown me, through tons and ton of tape and fights that he's the guy. He's the best one right now. He's the top of the heap.
Especially against Corey Sandhagen in his last fight. We really know that we're just waiting for him. We're waiting for this fight so that Aljamain can get his fight and get his opportunity, because Aljamain is at the top of his game right now.
He is, man. He's really on point.
And maybe you could say that's the reason Cejudo said, I want more money if I got to fight these killers.
Yeah. Now, one thing I will say, man, I've been watching a lot of Petr Yan. I'm not impressed with him. I'm really not. Like, I don't think he does anything very well. His last fight, he fought Uriah Faber. A shop-worn Uriah Faber, no chin Uriah Faber. And he put him away in the 3rd round with a weird little kick because he has no chin.
We both thought that he should have finished that fight a lot earlier.
Yeah, and he just didn't look impressive, man. He just didn't look impressive to me. He reminds me a lot of Volkanovski, where I don't know, man. They're just not impressive to me. I don't know how their champions are fighting, or how he's fighting for a championship. The problem is the guy on the opposite side of Yan is Jose Aldo, and Jose Aldo's also shop worn. He's been in a lot of fights. He did beat Marlon Moraes because he was the bigger man. He's going to be the bigger man here by a lot. The way to victory for Jose Aldo in this fight is kicks. And he didn't use a lot of kicks against Marlon Moraes. He used some, but he needs to kick Petr Yan, and then that'll open up his hands. He's going to be the bigger man because he's coming down from 145 to 135. I was worried because we both saw those pictures of him dropping weight last, and he looked like a skeleton, man. And but he proved that he can do it, and he proved that he was able to perform for 3 rounds and win. And win. He won that fight. So I don't know, man. I just see, Petr Yan is not exciting, not impressive going up against a maybe 80% of what Jose Aldo really is. So it's really kind of a toss up to me. Now the problem with that is whoever wins this fight is going against Sterling, and I would pick Sterling. No matter what happens here. Yeah, if Petr Yan does a highlight reel on Jose Aldo, or Jose Aldo does a highlight reel on Petr Yan, I'm still picking Sterling. Whenever they fight.
Absolutely. Sterling is the uncrowned champion. Sean O'Malley is the uncrowned #1 contender. But
Who is?
oh no, why not? You know what? Maybe I'm lying. Cody Garbrandt, maybe after that fight.
Hey,
That Cody
that was
Garbrandt, yes.
that was a big knockout. He did have a good. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It sets up a lot of cool fights coming up.
Let me pull up the rankings real quick.
But it really, I mean, man, please pay Triple C, man. I want to see him fight Sterling. I want to see him fight Jan. I want to see him fight this Cody Garbrandt. And then, you know, I mean, we're months away from the return of the disgraced champion, TJ Dillashaw. So
That's true. That is very true.
You put Dillashaw in that mix. I want to see him against Sterling. I want to see him against Marlon Moraes. There's just so many fights, man. But all of this goes also with Triple C because Triple C has not been beat since he's been on this run by anyone, and that's what I want to see, man.
Okay, I'm going to be zooming in. Let me know when it's good.
All right.
Is that a good one? Okay. Yeah. So this is the featherweight. I mean, this is the bantamweight division, guys. As you can see, bantamweight. There's nobody there. So let's look at it. So we have this is the stacked. This is going to be a carousel of guys going back and forth. I think because especially now that it's empty, we have at number one Marlon Moraes. Yes, he technically lost that fight, but I mean, no, he lost that fight, but he technically won that fight. So he's still there, number one. He didn't. I mean, obviously he didn't look great, but maybe he just had a bad night. Maybe he was going up against the GOAT. Maybe he was going against the featherweight GOAT. I don't know. You know, it's that kind of thing.
He also has a win over Aljamain Sterling.
And he has a win against Aljamain Sterling. So number two, you have Aljamain Sterling coming off of the very impressive win against Corey Sandhagen here.
Who was number 4?
Who was number 4, now is number 5. You have Peter Yan fighting here in this fight right now. You have Cody Garbrandt, very impressive win. Oh, knocking out Rafael Sansao at the buzzer. Fantastic.
Of the first round.
At the buzzer in the first round is great. Then you have Corey Sandhagen. I don't think even though you got beat by Aljamain Sterling, it looked like you went in with the wrong game plan. Go back to the drawing board, figure it out. I think anybody else, Corey Sandhagen looks really good against. Then you have Jose Aldo, the greatest featherweight of all time. That's up to you to decide.
Potentially.
Yeah, potentially. Let's see where Holloway ends his career at. But because don't forget, even though Holloway lost, we also know that Jose Aldo had that really bad knockout against McGregor. So everyone has some bad things in their resume. It happens to all of us. Pedro Munoz at number 7.
Hold on. Pedro Munoz was supposed to fight, but I think he his cornerman tested positive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, and he's no slouch.
Yeah, he was supposed to fight Frankie Edgar.
Okay. Oh, that was gonna be a good fight. Frankie Edgar making his way down there. That'd have been really good to watch. So then you also have Rafael Sansao, even though he got knocked out by Garbrandt, no slouch at all in this division. You have Jimmy Rivera, Cody Stamen, Rob Font, Dominic Cruz at number 12, which is a travesty. I really think he was starting to pick it up in that Cejudo fight, man. Looked like he was starting to get his groove back. I know he didn't start out great, but he was starting to get his groove back. Went for a takedown, got hit with that knee that was supposed to be a kick. So it is what it is. Then you got John Dodson.
That's gonna be one of those great what ifs, dude.
Yeah, absolutely, man. If imagine we don't see the retirement if Dominic Cruz beats Cejudo.
Well, not only that, I'm just saying if the ref doesn't stop the fight right there, what would have happened?
Oh, it keeps going. Yeah, you're absolutely right. We see that third. What was that? Because that was a third or the second.
That was the second round, I think.
Second round, yeah, right at the end. So I mean, you're absolutely right. What if we get round 3, round 4, round 5 of Dominic Cruz and Cejudo? Maybe we start to see that old Dominic Cruz because it didn't look like Dominic Cruz was struggling. It just looked like he hadn't found his footing. He looked like he hadn't been in the octagon in a couple of years. Yeah,
he was warming up, in other words,
Yeah, exactly. So and not really getting pieced up, just more not finding his spots. So don't count Dominic Cruz out. I think if Dominic Cruz is ready to get back out there, but at the same time, it's is he ready? Does he want to keep fighting, or does he want to maybe stick to what he was doing with the commentating? Because he's really good at it, I think. I know people don't really like Dominic Cruz. I think Dominic Cruz is very good in terms of breaking down striking. So it's up to him, really. Does he want to keep fighting? Does he want to stick in his cushy job? Because that's a very nice job you got there. It's a very nice job you got there. And he's still, because the UFC goes to 3 guys. They go to Cormier, or no, they go to 4 guys. They go to Cormier, they go to Bisping, they go to Dominic, and they go to Paul Felder. Like Bisping's shown that you get that job, you get to keep that job after you're done. We're gonna see that with Cormier. Maybe Dominic Cruz is the next one to say, you know what, I'm gonna stick at this job. It's fun. And then probably short after that, Paul Felder will follow.
I don't know, man. He looked like he belonged in there. I'd like to see more Dominic Cruz. It's sad that he's ranked number 12.
Same, that's like a travesty.
Yeah, and it's also the same thing with Jose Aldo, man. Like Jose Aldo going up against this young fighter, Peter Yan. I don't know, man. I've told you before, sometimes guys fall off a cliff, man. And Jose Aldo, man, I feel like he's teetering on that cliff, man. You
said Jose?
Yeah, Jose Aldo. So it would suck for Jose to fall off the cliff before this fight, and then Peter Yan just destroy him. And then where does Jose Aldo go from here? So I don't know. Yeah. These veterans are getting up there in age. They've been around a while. They still got game. But at least Dominic Cruz, like you mentioned, he has his commentating gig, and like you said, that might push him out the door fast.
And then speaking of veteran, you got John Dodson at 13, but then you have the young up and comers that are coming up at the very bottom. You got Sean O'Malley and you got Song Yadong. Song Yadong, even though he might not have, in your eyes and probably my eyes, won that fight against Marlon Vera. Yeah, but he looked really good in that fight also. It wasn't a bad fight by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. And Sean O'Malley showing that he's picking up where you tell me that he left off when he first got suspended. That he's just knocking out fools. Like he's just running through them. Who was the knockout against this past time? Who was the last fight?
It was it Cub Swanson?
No, that was the one before that.
It was
at Wineland.
Yeah, Eddie Wineland.
Yeah.
The thing too, O'Malley talked about wanting to fight what's his name right now, Frankie Edgar, because Munoz stepped out, but he's nowhere near able to go. Everybody, I think, who else was it? Who else?
Song Yadong?
Somebody else called out Frankie Edgar right now too. Is it? Man, I just saw it right now that they called him out. Vera. Vera called him out because Vera's over there as a cornerman for I forgot who he's cornering right now, but he said he's ready. He could be on weight and he could fight Frankie Edgar at 135, and I think that'd be a great fight for him. But I don't think Frankie Edgar's taking any fights, man.
No, yeah, it's one of those. I don't think Frankie Edgar is in any shape to be taking fights on very short notice. He did that against Korean Zombie and got knocked out for it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't think Frankie Edgar's gonna be very smart, but especially at the end of your career, you gotta be a little bit smarter about it. And I think Frankie Edgar is one of those guys that I wouldn't be mad seeing him fight either Marlon Vera or Sean O'Malley. He probably gets knocked out by Sean O'Malley, but
I don't want to see him get fed to up and comers, man. He's lost three of his last 4.
So you want him getting like a Rafael or a Pedro?
Yeah, like somebody that's more established, that it means something, that can get him up there faster.
I'd be down to see him fight Rafael. That'd be cool.
I mean, yeah, and Asunsan makes everybody look bad because of his defensive style. But maybe that works out because Edgar's so offensively minded, a win against O'Malley doesn't really do a lot for him, but it does a lot for O'Malley. That's why I don't like those kind of fights, man. O'Malley needs to make his name off of other people that are young like him, or maybe a little bit older than him, but not like a Frankie Edgar, not like a Jose Aldo. That doesn't make sense to me,
Yeah. So let's look at this, because we still got plenty of time here to talk about the co-main, and we've kind of broken down the main event, so we got plenty of time. In terms of fights we want to see here in this featherweight division, this bantamweight division, we look at guys like a Sean O'Malley, and then you think, okay, does Dominic Cruz want to keep fighting? That'd be very interesting in terms of fighting style. 2 guys that throw. Sean O'Malley's all about them kicks, but he'll throw a punch at you too. And then Dominic Cruz is one of the most, to me personally, one of the most interesting fighting styles I've seen in a long time. He's super big for I think he's really big for the division. Super long. But Sean O'Malley is also really long.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
able to
I think he's the tallest in the division.
Yeah, so that'd be a very interesting fight. But then you also have guys like Jimmy Rivera, or I don't know where Pedro Munoz is at in terms of his recovery, but Pedro Munoz or getting one of those, getting a Sanhagen. Like if Sean O'Malley could convince a Sanhagen to fight him, because
There you
Sanhagen's at
go.
5, but you have a guy with a loss up against a guy with a win, but low in the division, be a nice fight.
That would be a nice fight, but I bet you he wouldn't take it.
Absolutely not. Why would you take? You just lost to Aljamain Sterling. You just lost to Aljamain, got choked out very quickly. Yeah, that'd be kind of hard sell. But also, why don't we put the 2 best knockouts on that card? I don't know. I know Garbrandt wants his title back, but and you're gonna have to wait till Aljamain gets his first one. So Aljamain gets his opportunity, because I think, like you said, Aljamain is first in line after this fight tonight, or this next Saturday. He's next in line.
He is, Marlon. But you gotta understand too, like if one of them gets hurt, like the winner gets hurt, let's say Jan wins and he gets hurt, he's gonna be out for an extended period of time. Sterling's gonna have to fight somebody. Yeah, you're doing interim, or just the timing of it, because they're fighting we're in July, and then with how everything's been going on with how they're setting up the fight cards, they're announcing fights like a month before, Yeah,
and it's going fast.
So I don't know, man. I mean, I'd like to see Aljamain and Garbrandt, and then again, when does I'm gonna tell you exactly when Dillashaw comes back.
Okay. Give me while you're looking for that. I'm gonna go ahead and head to the restroom real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'm back. Sorry. When is TJ coming back?
TJ is eligible to come back in January of 2021. That's 6 months away. He's 34 years old, and he looks like a welterweight. That's all I gotta say.
Would you be willing to see him move up?
No.
You want to see him back at Bantam?
I want him at 135. He has unfinished business there. He's been talking big, saying that Dana White promised him a title shot. He says, but that doesn't mean anything. Nobody owes me anything. He says, if y'all want to punish me, put me up against the dogs, top 5.
Yeah.
so that he can get a championship fight after that. So I think he knows that he's not going to get a championship fight as soon as he comes back. But I definitely think that he deserves a top 5 fight because, he has a skill set, man. He has a skill set to do it. He's getting up there in age, so we definitely need to see where he can go as soon as possible because we don't want him to fall off that cliff like Jose Aldo either, you know?
Yeah, exactly, man. Man, 34. That's tough. That's not a bad age, but it's also not ideal. You know?
Yeah, I mean, Dominic Cruz is 30. Let me see.
Oh, how old is Dominic Cruz? That's interesting.
He is 35.
Wow. So yeah, he's around this, same age. Yeah. But the difference is you don't have to wait a little bit longer. Come back, Dominic can fight whenever he wants, really.
Yeah, so you got Henry Cejudo at 33, Garbrandt at 29, Dillashaw at 34.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. And then you have how old is Marlon and Aljamain? I'm looking at Aljamain right now.
He's young. He's in his 20s, but Marlon is a little bit older. He is.
So yeah, Aljamain's 30.
Yeah,
Aljamain's
and
30.
Okay, I thought he was in his 20s. Marlon is 32.
So yeah, this is like everyone's in their basically everyone's in their prime.
Except O'Malley.
Kind of division. Yeah, except O'Malley. O'Malley has plenty to learn.
How old is Sandhagen?
Garbrandt's 28.
Sandhagen's 28.
Yeah, so this is a very, very young division, man. This is very interesting. The bantamweight in terms of the top tier are probably where they should be. Top tier, Dominic Cruz, TJ Dillashaw, Jose Aldo, and all that, But then you have the young guys who are up and coming, and they're probably maybe a little bit ahead of time.
Yeah, O'Malley's 25. Asunsa's 37.
Well, yeah, he's getting up there, but he can still put on an exciting fight. That was a good fight between him and Garbrandt before he got knocked out.
Yeah, I agree.
Just a nasty knockout, man. Just Garbrandt's a different guy.
Yeah, but
he's very different from the last fight that I saw him in.
Yeah, he was a lot smarter. He was able to take a punch. He took a couple punches from Asunsao, even though Asunsao is not known for that much power. But I've been looking back at that too, man. I saw some of the interviews that Garbrandt did before, and he said that he's very defensive, and he was like basically saying what he does, and he was just, I guess he was like subtweeting him and subtly calling him out that he's very defensive, which opened up Asunsao to kind of show I'm not just offensive, I can also be offensive, and he opened up so much that he ended up getting caught and knocked out.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, yeah, like I said, bantamweight division is going to be very, very hot in these upcoming months, especially that Dana's trying to sign fights fast, fast and furious. Who knows how much longer you can put these fights on based on our trajectory with the damn COVID. Who knows how long you can put them on.
That's why he has Fight Island, man. He won't put them on here in the U.S., but he'll put them on over there.
I'm excited, too, because that also means that guys like Leon Edwards will be able to get in there. Darren Till, which I'm excited for Darren Till and Whitaker. That's going to be a great fight.
Adesanya and Costa.
That's going to be great fights coming forward, man. But let's go ahead and jump into probably the tied for the top division right now, and that's featherweight. We're talking about the co-main event, which is Alexander Volkanovski taking on Max Holloway. Max Holloway defending his weight. Oh, man.
Nope.
My bad. My bad. Max Holloway's trying to get that title back, man. So this past December, it was Volkanovski versus Holloway, and Holloway just took a little bit longer to get ready. Took a little bit longer to settle in. Couldn't handle kept getting kicked in his leg. That's just points getting added. And he lost the fight. It wasn't impressive on Volkanovski's part. The only thing I can say about Volkanovski is he was ready. He's ready. He knew his game plan. He stuck to it. And Holloway just took a little bit too long to adjust.
Yeah, that's the thing, that fight was Volkanovski, doing his game plan to a T, his very boring game plan to a T. And also, there's little doubt that people like Holloway. He's a fighter's fighter. He loves to fight. He loves to scrap.
Absolutely. Family man.
Huh?
You say he's a family man. He's great for
Family
selling. It's a
man.
great selling point.
Yeah, he has a mini Holloway that he brings into the ring and into the octagon. But the thing is that he didn't adjust, man. He didn't adjust. He adjusted too late. He didn't check the kicks. He didn't, and the kicks were doing damage and they were forcing him to switch his stance, which he's not comfortable in the other stance, not 100%. So I'm very interested to see, what.
I'm gonna ignore that. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna ignore it.
Yeah, I don't. Him adjusting. I'm hoping that he adjusts earlier. This is the thing that I was talking about earlier with the Rose Namajunas and Jessica Andrade fight. That she's gonna make that adjustment so she doesn't get put on her head again. I'm hoping he. Ted Bundy. Oh my God, this guy.
Probably Bundy. I don't know.
I don't know, man. Dahmer has some reach on him, so I don't know.
Dahmer was crazy.
Take a hit. So I don't know. I hope he can adjust to those leg kicks, man, and come out with a different game plan, or maybe if he does get kicked and he can adjust quicker sooner than he did in the last fight. And I think looking back at that fight, at the end of it, whenever they announced Volkanovski as a winner, Holloway was shocked. Like he couldn't believe it. Like he couldn't believe that he could be beat. And now he got beat, and now he had to go back to the drawing board and see, okay, what do I need to do to beat this guy? And again, man, I'm not the biggest Volkanovski fan, not because I don't like the guy or because he's a jerk or he's a John Jones light or anything like that. I just don't like his fighting style. He's not, he's not overly aggressive. Doesn't have a lot of power. He had a game plan and he stuck to it and he won, which is great for him. But I just don't like, I don't think he's a feared fighter. In other words, I don't think he's a feared champion. In other words.
Yeah. Exactly. You basically broke it down. Honestly, this is more about the future of the featherweight division, I think. Because I'm assuming that this goes back to Holloway. Holloway goes back to being champ. As we know, Holloway's willing to fight anybody. Holloway will fight you. So that means that all comers will be welcome. And there's a lot of guys that I'm really looking forward to making their way to that level. There's a lot of guys there. So you have let me share the screen real quick. And I will just say, if you want to be shouted out in the comments, actually drop something that I care about talking about. drop a worthwhile comment, because I don't care. So let's break it down. At the bottom of the featherweight division, we have Sodiq Yusuff, exciting guy. Guy can put on a show. I think he's not quite there, but he is good. He's very. I think he's exciting. Just gotta put it all together, mostly. Then you have Shane Burgos. Just gotta get a win under his belt, man. Put on a great fight against him, against Josh Emmett. Could have went either way. It went Josh Emmett's way. We're not gonna see Josh Emmett for a bit, but Shane Burgos is one of those guys that I think can take on anybody in this division, really. And I'd be excited to watch it. Hello, are you there? Oh no. Yo. Oh man, he dropped out. All right, guys. So I'm here until Jesus comes on back. So you get to look at my ugly mug, unfortunately. But let's go ahead and keep looking at this these divisions. At this division, the featherweight division. A lot of guys, a lot of great competitors here at this level. You have Shane Burgos, as I said. And you have Ryan Hall, Arnold Allen, who is a little bit on the skid, but has the talent to be up there. He just has to put the wins together. You got Jose Aldo, but Jose Aldo has moved on to the bantamweight division. Danny Ige put on a great fight. Jeremy Stevens, who is still no slouch, even though he got knocked out by Calvin Kattar, but not a slouch at all. Frankie Edgar, he's trying to make his way to the bantamweight division as well. Then you got Josh Emmett, going to be out for a long time after tearing his ACL. But then at the top of the division is where it's going to get the most interesting. you have Calvin Kattar, who is incredible with his striking. One of the probably best boxers in the division. Has great hands. Knocking out Jeremy Stevens is not a bad feat. It's not very easy. So that's gonna be Calvin Kattar is one of those guys to be looking forward to. Yair Rodriguez. Jesus will tell you later. He'll tell you otherwise, but I will say the luckiest elbow, but looked good against Jeremy Stevens. Has a fight coming up against Zabit, so that's gonna be a very interesting fight. There at the top of the division. Then you have the Korean Zombie and Brian Ortega going back and forth, so they might be heading down the way. And then you have Zabit, the guy. I just don't think he has the tank to hang there at the top of the division. But if he can get the stamina back, get the endurance to where he wants it to be, can be a very interesting player there at the featherweight division because of the fact that he has such unique striking. He's one of those Dominic Cruz types where they just can't figure him out, and that's what Zabit can be. Just has to figure out that stuff in terms of figuring out his stamina. So very interesting fights that could be possibly coming down the pipe. But this fight right here, Volkanovski versus Holloway, Volkanovski could immediately, if he goes 5 rounds with Max Holloway and Max Holloway wins, Volkanovski still has a leg to stand on in this division. Can still say, hey, I can still hang with the top of the division because Max Holloway is that. He'll stay probably at number 1, number 2, and we'll see with that Volkanovski going up against any of these guys. Unfortunately, we are dealing with some technical difficulties with Jesus at the moment, so you are just getting me, but that's okay. I'll go ahead and shout out in this chat. We got Muay Thai 23 saying, who wins in a street fight, a juiced up Edward Scissorhands or Freddy Krueger? Freddy Krueger all day, man. Freddy Krueger can hang all night long. Maybe because Edward Scissorhands has both hands that have scissors. He might have a puncher's chance, but I think Freddy Krueger still wins that fight, hands down. All right, and let's go ahead and before we move on, man, let's see what we got coming even more further down the pike, because this is just this upcoming week's fight. We have a lot of fights coming up down the line in terms of UFC. UFC is gonna be kicking into full gear very, very quick and very fast. So we have. I'm just waiting for this to load. Sorry, guys. Trying to get Jesus back here and here as soon as possible because we only got about 10 minutes left. But we got after OKC. There we go. We got a big fight here. Calvin Kattar taking on Dan Ige the next week, July 15th. Not even the next week. Sorry. Yeah, actually, not even the week. Literally, that Wednesday, we're getting Calvin Kattar versus Dan Ige there in the featherweight division. So that's gonna be a big fight. Big things are gonna be on that fight. We also got Carla Esparza taking on Marina Rodriguez in the strawweight division. Go ahead and keep going down the line. In the prelims, we got Meatball Molly McCann making her return against Tayla Santos. So Molly McCann is one of my personal favorites. I think she's great. And yeah, so that's gonna be a pretty good fight there, Fight Island. And then right after that, we have July 18th, Figueiredo versus Benavidez for the vacant flyweight championship. So as if y'all don't know, last time Figueiredo did not weigh in, but Benavidez did. So it was only Benavidez was the only one that was going to be eligible to win the title. Didn't get the win. Davison knocks him out in the second round, if I'm not mistaken, or the third. So Figueiredo, the title stays. There we go. We got him back. What's up, man? I was just breaking down some of the other cards, but let's go ahead and go to the featherweight rankings. Which
all right, man. Sorry about that. I was having trouble with my internet.
No, you're good. No worries, man. No worries. Let's go ahead. Let me go ahead and share the screen real quick so you can see what I'm seeing. Here we go. Boom. There it is. We have a lot of guys, man. But as I was saying earlier, we have a lot of fights coming down the pike that can help kind of settle this division out. So you have at the bottom, you have Sodiq Yusuff, who I think, in my opinion, is exciting, but just has to put it together. Shane Burgos, another guy. You just got to put the wins together, man. He's very good, very exciting, very close fight against Josh Emmett and lost, unfortunately, but was a good fight nonetheless with Shane Burgos. You have Ryan Hall, Arnold Allen, kind of waiting to see these two guys.
The most dangerous and most I guess the most dangerous man in the featherweight division, Ryan Hall, who nobody wants to fight him.
Yeah. And then you got Jose Aldo, who's not in the division really anymore. Then you have go ahead.
Ryan Hall. He just announced a fight of his, right?
Yeah, that's why. Is that why that name sounded so familiar?
Yeah,
he's getting Shoeface, isn't he?
No, you don't know who. You don't remember Ryan Hall?
No, why am I blanking on Ryan Hall?
He's the guy that looks so like he's not
a
fighter.
Oh my god, yeah, the wizard.
Yeah, he
constantly goes for that leg.
Yeah, he just looks like am I supposed to be fighting? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, there he goes. See?
Yeah, or he beat Elkins before that. Beat BJ Penn and Gray Maynard. Dude, that's a who's who right there. Those two names. Even though Penn and Gray Maynard aren't in the UFC anymore, but those are two good names to have on your resume.
I think he's fighting Ricardo Lamas next.
Okay, there you go, Ricardo Lamas. So that's gonna be a good fight. Let's see if Ryan Hall can live up to his name, the Wizard, because he always goes for that damn leg with the same. What is that roll?
The leg. You talking about the leg lock? The roll?
Well, he always goes for that little roll that he always does.
It's the Imanari roll. The Imanari roll. He's scheduled to fight him, Ricardo Lamas, on August 29th.
Okay, so we got a little bit to go. Because I was saying we're going to be having like I said, very quick turnaround in terms of fights, because we have this weekend, which is the 11th, July 11th, and then we're getting Calvin Kattar versus Dan Ige on July 15th, which is that Wednesday, and then right after that, July 18th, we're getting Figueiredo versus Benavidez.
Yeah, we got a bunch of fights coming up at Fight Island, but dude, I'm just looking at this fight card. Yeah,
which
dude,
one?
The one
August 29th?
That
a big card?
Your boy Yair Rodriguez.
Oh yeah, luckiest elbow. I said it earlier. I said it while you were gone. I said the luckiest elbow.
Taking on your other boy Zabit on August 29th.
Yeah, I was talking about Zabit, and I mentioned that fight's coming up, and it all comes down to can Zabit hang for 3 rounds?
I don't know, man. Yair puts on a torrid pace, so we'll see.
Yeah, because we all know that fight, even though it wasn't scheduled to be 5 rounds, it should have been 5 rounds between Zabit and Kattar, because it got moved to main event very quickly. So I guess neither guy was willing to. So it might be, and I might not be only on Zabit, might be on both guys. Might not have been willing to move it to a 5-round fight, because that was the Volkov where Volkov got canceled, or no. Volkov got canceled, right? Alexander Volkov and somebody else. So that fight, since that fight got canceled, it moved Calvin Kattar and Zabit to the main event, and both guys, I'm assuming, weren't willing to go to 5 rounds. And Kattar was starting to heat up in that second round. He just lost that first round. He lost that first round. Lost the second round. Was starting to heat up in that third round, and if it was a 5-round fight, probably wins it. But because it was a 3-round fight, and as we know, Calvin Kattar learned, he even said it multiple times, that he's got to start quicker, and we saw that against Jeremy Stevens, because he's going to be fighting against Dan Ige, and Dan Ige is not an easy out.
Dude, we got so many fights coming up, man, at Fight Island.
Oh, yeah, we're going to break them down before we leave.
All of them?
We're not going to break them down, but we're going to go over them real quick. A little preview. This is more of a in-depth for 251, but we're going to go ahead and look forward, because we're going to have a lot of things to break down. If I'm at work, say if I have to go back to work next week, I won't be able to break down 251 before we get to Calvin Kattar and Ige. We might have to separate that into 2 if I'm back at work, but I don't know. This freaking disease is weird. This virus is very odd. Like I don't feel like shit at all, but I have it.
We can record on Saturday or Sunday.
I think I'll be actually willing to do Saturday, like stay, because I'll be up late.
Yeah, dude, we could do it because we can do if we do,
Fresh.
yeah, we do Saturday, we can do the Wednesday fight and then the Saturday fight again, which is Figueiredo and Benavidez and Gastelum and Hermanson.
That's gonna be that's gonna be a big card.
That's what
We'll
I'm
figure that out
saying.
later. Let's go ahead and break down the rankings. So, as I said, Jose Aldo not in the division anymore, so you can kind of just erase his name. Dan Ige right there at 10, but he's going to be facing off against number 6 Qatar.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a good fight. We're going to see that on the 15th of July. Then you have Jeremy Stevens at number 9, coming off of a pretty big knockout from Qatar, but Jeremy Stevens, he'll still hang with the best. We'll go in there and bang with you. He might get knocked out because of it, but that's okay. Then you have Frankie Edgar there, but he's not in the division anymore. Then you have Josh Emmett, going to be out for a very long time.
Yep.
Calvin Kattar, number 6, as we said, what he's doing next. Yair Rodriguez, we've already said he's got a beat. We can only assume that Korean Zombie and Brian Ortega are next up. They've been going back and forth on Instagram. Brian Ortega kind of doing the I'm ready when you are, but then
not really.
Korean Zombie letting him know, like, you can come to Korea whenever you want.
Yeah,
it's me that can't go over there.
Exactly, dude.
So, and I think that's kind of a weak move on Brian Ortega's point, on Brian Ortega's part. Like, you know.
Would you say the winner between Yair and Zabit is next in line?
Yeah. If it's especially if they either one gets like a highlight reel knockout, like in very, very definitive fashion, I would say yeah. And it also comes down to what happens in this Volkanovski fight, man. Like, with how does it go? Does it go the same way, where in terms of maybe Volkanovski loses, but he still goes 5 rounds, or does Holloway finish him? Because if a Holloway finishes him, then yes, Volkanovski back of the line. You got to get back up to it. But if it's another close fight where they're both just going back and forth, Holloway clearly has the clear advantage, but Volkanovski has something to stand on in terms of, I went 5 rounds with the best in the division right now. Then you could say, okay, maybe Volkanovski gets another chance pretty quickly, gets a top tier guy very quickly. But it's hard because every one of these guys here in the top 5 or in top 6 are locked up in terms of fights.
Yeah.
Because you got Zabit. It's a great problem to have.
It's like the way you think about it is like a tournament. It's just basically what it is.
Absolutely. Like, maybe the winner of Qatar and Ige takes on the winner of Zabit and Yair. And then you either get Dan Ige versus one of those two, or you get, and which is the fresh fight, because I don't think Dan Ige's fought either one of those, with either be Yair or Zabit. So it'd be a fresh fight. Or you get Calvin Kattar against Yair, fresh fight, exciting fight too.
Yep.
Or you get a rematch between Calvin and Zabit. Can he avenge the loss?
You got to make that a 5-round fight.
Oh, absolutely. That's a main event right there. Those two just in terms of their excitability, like their exciting style, is a 5-round fight in itself. But the fact that they've already got to fight against each other. Most people say that Calvin Kattar was starting to heat up in that 3rd round. Probably if it goes 5 rounds, it's there. And also, Calvin Kattar is going to learn from his mistakes and not start slow. Even though I think he was taking a lot of punches against Jeremy Stevens.
He was
taking a lot of hits.
Yeah, Calvin Kattar is one of those guys that doesn't have the greatest defense, but he'll take one or throw one. And usually when he throws one, I mean, if he can knock out Jeremy Stevens, who has a blockhead, granted chin, I mean, he can probably knock out anybody in this division.
Because Yair didn't, even though he beat him in 3, and was it 3-round fight?
Mm-hmm.
Or they changed? Yeah, he beat him in 3 rounds, but he didn't knock him out, right?
I don't think he knocked him out, but I think he beat him like definitively.
Yeah, like, it wasn't close, but it was one of those ones where it was it was 5 or 3 rounds, went the distance, but there was no doubt who won that fight.
Yeah, it was a decision in 3 rounds.
So it's gonna be exciting, man. It's gonna be a lot of exciting stuff coming down. That's why I'm saying this is one of those divisions. Even it's not like the bantamweight where we don't know where everybody's at, where everybody stands. It's more of anybody has a chance to get to that title, because we kind of already have a tournament laid out, tournament style kind of laid out. So we can see a lot of great fights coming down the pike. So like we said before, we got Ige versus Calvin Kattar. That's kind of the highlight on that card is Ige versus Qatar. But that's like I said, that's a Wednesday fight. You kind of only need the main event to be the main draw. Qatar versus Ige be a great fight, and then people will love it already. And somebody on the card will excite in some way. And then you got Figueiredo versus Davis versus Benavidez, who this is a big fight because it's a rematch, but only because Figueiredo didn't weigh in.
Yeah, and also because there was some controversy. With that headbutt right before the knockout.
Yeah. So Benavidez looking to avenge the loss and win that title, and Figueiredo trying to show that okay, I am the guy here in the flyweight division. I proved it last time, even though there's controversy, but
I can make weight and I can still win. The thing is, man, with Benavidez, he's up there in age and he's challenged a couple times for it. But man, he looked decent in that fight with Figueiredo before he got knocked out. But I did see that he wasn't taking punches as well as he normally does.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked like some of those punches from Davis and Figueiredo were kind of bothering him.
Yeah, so that's either a testament to the power that Figueiredo has, or that's just Benavidez getting chinny with all the wars he's had.
Yeah, and it shows that maybe even though the headbutt played a part in the knockout at the end, it might have just sped up the result.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Maybe Benavidez lasts a little bit longer, but the result's the same. I don't know, but we'll see. I'm excited. First of all, the first fight is with the scale. Figueiredo's got to make weight.
That's true.
Figueiredo's got to make weight, man. Then you got Hermanson versus Kelvin. This is a big fight, number 6, number 7 in the middleweight division. Gastelum needs a win bad. Had a great fight against Darren Till, but loses. Had a great fight against Adesanya. Loses. Like, it's just it sucks. And then Hermanson is coming off of a win, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he beat.
I can look at it real quick.
Didn't he beat? He beat what's his name? Is it Roundtree or what's the other guy's name?
I'm looking at it right now. Oh no, sorry. He lost to Cannonier by knockout and TKO, and then before that he beat Jacare Souza.
That's what it was.
But it was a very quick turnaround. It was literally a month. So he beats Souza in a decision and then faces Cannonier within a month. Because that Souza fight was on August. Oh no, sorry, it wasn't a month. I'm
no. It was September. Is when he lost to Cannonier, and he beat Souza in April,
and beat also Branch before that.
Yeah,
in a submission, first round submission. So
he had a little bit of a run going there because those are two big names.
Mm-hmm.
And then he runs up against Cannonier, and Cannonier knocks him out in the second round. So this is a big fight for Hermanson too, man. Hermanson needs that just as much as Gastelum needs it.
Absolutely. And in terms of the rest of the card, it's okay. You got Grant Dawson at a catch weight. Grant Dawson shows that he's exciting. And then on the other card, you got Ariana Lipski, but she has to prove that she's like kind of being talked up to be. And then you got Alexander Pantoja taking on Askar Askarov. That's gonna be a good fight right there. Number 4 versus number 7 in the flyweight division. Fight. And then let's go. We can go ahead and just get a little preview of what's to come after that. Trying to pull it up real quick. Whitaker versus Till on July 25th. That's a week after Figueiredo versus Benavidez on Fight Island. And then the next one's scheduled. I don't know if I'm assuming it's not the main event, but it's scheduled for August 1st. First is the big fight that's been scheduled so far is Holly Holm versus Aldana. And then after that, we're getting number 3, baby. Miocic versus Cormier. August 15th. Come on. Come on. Aren't we excited? It's probably going to be a double retirement, but it's going to be a great fight nonetheless.
Double retirement. Well, that's such a big fight, man. That's like it's so much at stake. It's not only the heavyweight title. It's not only the third fight of a trilogy, but it's
the greatest of all time.
The greatest heavyweight up to this point of all time.
Absolutely.
In mixed martial arts, the legit. I don't think anybody can argue this, and if they can, they're crazy. But the legitimate baddest man on the planet is going to be fighting on August 15th for that title, because that would be the person that can beat anybody, on the planet, really, at walking around. So it's a big fight, man. I'm very interested in this fight. Miocic has been doing his duty as a firefighter and doing his job. Cormier has been doing his duty as a commentator and also agitating Stipe. So
that, not only that, but also hosting detail, breaking down other fight styles, man.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
You can't say that doesn't help you going forward into other fights. Absolutely. Like when you're just constantly watching fight tape of other fighters that aren't even in your division, and you find something that you're like, hey, maybe I should try that. Or
I mean, I feel like you get a lot more ideas. But I think it also gives you, a little bit of a break from watching your own fights,
or your opponent's fights.
Yeah, because you can get stale with that stuff, and especially with this guy that he's seen twice already. He's prepared for Stipe twice, so it's just really it's gonna be an interesting fight, man. They know each other. They've been in there for a while with each other. Whoever wins, the baddest man on the planet. Let
me put this out to you. The question is, does the winner actually retire? We can assume the loser retires and just says, you know what, it's been a great career. Whether it be Cormier or Stipe, it's been a great career. I've enjoyed it. I got something waiting for me after this. It's Cormier. He's got the commentating. It's Stipe. He's got the firefighting. He loves it. He talks about.
I will answer this question with another question.
Go ahead.
Let's say you are the winner, whoever you are, whether you're DC or Stipe, and your option is to retire or to fight Francis Ngannou. What do you do?
If the winner retires, Francis Ngannou has the best thing that he could possibly say in all of his interviews. I retired both Cormier and Miocic. Neither guy wanted to fight me, so they called it quits.
I mean, he's going to be able to say that because the mic's going to be on him because he's still active.
Absolutely. Exactly.
But Miocic can just say, I already beat that guy. I don't have anything to prove. DC is probably DC is probably the only one that has something to prove. But, I mean, I don't know. I feel like...
No, he doesn't. He lost to a juiced up John Jones, and, all you can say there is he was juicing, dude. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, from a standpoint, like, would it bother DC that he doesn't fight Francis? I don't think it would. Yeah, because DC's gonna say, I've fought this guy many times over my career. Like, he's fought Anthony Rumble Johnson, who's a huge knockout guy. He's fought Derek Lewis. He's fought all these guys that are big knockout guys, and he's beating them soundly. And he can just say, dude, it'd be the same thing. It's not a challenge,
Absolutely. You're not wrong, man. You're not wrong, honestly. I'm just going to click over to the Wedge Chill to just see what they have scheduled for it. So we got Mauricio Shogun Hua taking on Antonio Rogero Nogueira. That's I don't know, man. That's just two guys that looking for paychecks.
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, these guys are the older circuit.
This is that division you want.
Yeah, this is the division I wanted, and actually, this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is a rematch because they fought
from Pride.
They fought in Pride, dude. That's how.
Did you show me? Did you tell me? You told me to watch this fight.
I think I did tell you to watch this.
Yeah,
fight.
This is a great fight.
Yeah,
absolutely. This is a great fight. They don't have the same thing, but Mauricio is dude. That's not the same Mauricio that I've met, because the only Mauricio that I knew was UFC Mauricio, and by that time, I mean, he was still good, but he was already on the tail end of his career.
Yep.
So that was a whole different Mauricio that I saw in Pride, man. That was a great fight, absolutely.
Yeah.
Got Alex Oliveira taking on Peter Sobata. Fabrizio Verdum taking on Alexander Gustafsson. Whoa, I didn't know he was coming back.
Yeah,
and a surprise right there.
And at heavyweight, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see that, man. I'm glad he's coming back, and it's going to be a little bit better for him. He doesn't have to cut as much weight.
Don't have to cut weight. Yeah, there you go.
Then on the other side, you got Justin Tafa coming in after his big win against Juan Adams, coming up against a guy that I've never heard of, and Rafael Pessoa Nunes. And Betch Correa taking on Penny Kianzad. Yeah,
I don't know if that fight's gonna happen between Nathaniel Wood and Umar Nurmagomedov. As you know,
yeah,
uh,
as we know, yeah.
Khabib's father, Abdulazbek Nurmagomedov, passed away from
Hmm.
complications of coronavirus in Russia.
Yeah,
So that's Umar is Khabib's cousin, I believe. Uh,
yeah, and I think he was from he did he fight in the did he fight in the Contender Series?
I don't think so, dude. I don't think he's
No.
fought. This was supposed
Oh,
to be his
his
debut.
debut.
His debut has been pushed back for like a year, dude. Like they've been trying to get
Yeah.
him to debut and they haven't been able to. Did you talk about Whitaker versus Till?
No, we just mentioned it. That's gonna be a great fight. Both guys have a lot to gain and not really much to lose, honestly. Like these are two top guys in the division. Darren Till, even though he's only had one fight in the middleweight division, held his own against Kelvin Gastelum, who also held his own against Robert Whitaker.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be one of those fights that's just gonna come down to who's better prepared. I think Darren Till has found his home in middleweight. It was a little bit too much to cut weight over there in the welterweight division. He found his home in middleweight. And your first fight against Kelvin Gastelum, and you get the win, and you look good.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you even think about going down?
Yeah, man, and this is going to be a tell of which Robert Whitaker do we see? Do we see the one that showed up against Adesanya without a game plan, just
Got knocked out twice.
Yeah, and just sloppy, or do
I'll
we see
never
the guy
forget that.
or do we see the guy who really took it to Yoel Romero and put it on him in two consecutive fights? So I don't know. If it's the original Whitaker, this is going to be a great fight. If it's the one that we saw,
if Whitaker wins, he has an automatic title fight against the winner of Costa and Adesanya.
Yeah, I mean, I would want to see if he beats Till. I mean, obviously this is basically like a number one contender after Costa, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Because if Till goes in there and looks really good against Whitaker, we gotta start talking about Darren Till at the middleweight division. I think everyone's kind of like it's just quiet because we're not seeing him. He has his for some reason he likes to Photoshop his face on people's pictures. But everyone has their thing.
Yeah, his social media game is strong, man.
But I'm looking here at the Holm and Aldana card, which is basically a number one contender to see who fights Nunes next. But also on that card, that the only other fight that's been confirmed is Brunson versus Edmund Shabazian.
Boy.
So yeah, I love Shabazian. I know you hate Shabazian because of you don't even hate him because of who he is. You hate him because of who he's connected to.
Yeah, I hate him by association.
Yeah, you don't even dislike the guy. Like when we talk about his fights, you don't even talk about his fight. You're just like, well, he's connected to this person, so I don't like him.
Well, dude, it's funny you say that because the other day, I was just perusing YouTube and a video showed up and it said, remember that time when Shabazian, challenged a fighter, Hallman? And so that you click it and you watch it, and it's whenever Ronda Rousey was on The Ultimate Fighter and she was a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And you bring your coaches to help train your team, and so she brought that Shabazian dude. And on the other side, it was Miesha Tate, and her boyfriend at the time was Mark Coleman, who's an actual UFC fighter, and he was a decent fighter, Mm-hmm. And Shabazian was just being a complete jerk, dude, and just staring down UFC fighters, staring down coaches, staring down the tough contestants like he's some big shot dude that can beat everybody's ass.
He knew, bro.
That guy calls him out, and I guess Shabazian forgot that they were in a studio that had an octagon, and he calls him out. He says, "I'll fight you anywhere." He's like, "There's an octagon right there. You ready?" He's like, "Yeah." And so they start walking, and then he's like, "Oh no, we got to do when the cameras aren't on because you're just doing it for the cameras and blah blah blah." Like he starts making all these excuses, dude. It just cemented what I knew about him, and I just don't like that guy. He's an idiot, and anything that comes from him or close to him is an idiot. So.
I like Shabazian. He's been I'm only talking about his past fights. He's been very impressive in his past couple fights. So he gets a big fight against Brunson. Brunson's no joke. That's a big fight.
He's not a joking. I don't want to say anymore. I mean, he's had his hiccups in his
past.
He's lost some ugly fights that looked like he was scared or he wasn't prepared. But I think he's past that. I think he said, he's fighting differently now. He's older. I think he's 35 or 36 years old. And he said he's fighting differently now. He's fighting with a different temperament. He's fighting smart. He knows that his skill set can beat anybody on the roster in his point of view. And I mean, actually, he does have a good skill set, man. He's a very awkward fighter from a standing position, and then he has some very good wrestling to go along with it. So this is going to be a tough fight for your boy Shabazian.
Absolutely.
If he beats this guy, then I definitely want to see him at the top with the cream of the crop and see how he does there.
All right. So yeah, man, it's gonna be it. We're gonna call it a quits for the night. We'll be back probably Saturday. Let's go ahead and kind of lock it in. Saturday night.
Saturday sounds good to me.
If anything, maybe we could jump on. I'll have the fights on my TV. You have the fights on your TV, and we kind of do what we did last time, but we'll just be remote.
We have to do the coronavirus social distancing thing, man. We love to do it in person, but hey, we can do a remote and kind of start that new trend right there.
Yeah, man. So we can maybe we'll watch. We'll schedule before the main event starts. We'll watch the main event together. Usman versus Masvidal. Why not? That'd be a great way to do it. So yeah, we'll go ahead and call it quits for the night, guys. Thank you everyone that joined in. Thank you for people that are watching on the rewatch. Hopefully enough people watch this before the fights start, because we have a lot of time to go. We got about 4 days. So I'm excited. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter at AlecMiller0423. Sorry, here you go, Kirby. On Twitter at AlecMiller0423. Catch me there to tweet about wrestling. We haven't even talked about wrestling in a long time. I can't wait to talk about wrestling. Movies, TV, anime. I'll go on it. I'll jump. I was about to jump into a politics tweet, and then I deleted it earlier. I didn't do it.
You got scared.
I did my tone. I was like, no, not yet. But yeah, catch me there, guys. Also, follow. Go on Patreon if you want to support. It's patreon.com/armbars and suplexes, and go on there. And once you let us know that you're on there, tweet me out, tweet him out, and we will give you a personal shout out here on the show. And we'll start posting some fight predictions and stuff on there. But we need people to go and support us there. So really appreciate it. Help us get like mics, earphones, me to start setting up a studio space. But yeah, so go there and help support, guys. It'll be really appreciative. And then follow Jesus at The Real Jesus. That's spelled JEEZUS. And make sure you catch us Saturday night, July 11th. Around the time that the main event starts. 4 days. Join us for the main event, guys. We'll be talking about the main event in live time. And it'll be a great time. So make sure you stop by, guys.
Sounds good, man.
Also, don't be a filthy casual. And we're out.
AMF.
We're out.